Hello, good afternoon. We are back. This is the first watch-along of the new season. It is the Community Shield. It is Arsenal versus treble winners Manchester City from Wembley Stadium. We will bring you all the action coming up the other side of our new intro. Here you go, short and to the point, isn't it? That's all you need. Right, okay, so the Community Shield then first. Curtain raiser of the season, of course, as it's been for many, many years now. We have got you some team news in for this game. So this is where the teams line up for this game today. So in goal then for Arsenal, Aaron Ramsdale, back four, Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel, and Julian Timber is starting at left back. So there you go. In midfield, it is Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, the captain, of course. And in the front three is Saka, Martinelli, and it is Havertz playing as that false nine in the absence of Gabriel Jesus. On the bench then for Arsenal, goalkeeper Matt Turner, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Jacob Kiwior, Rob Holding, Kieran Tierney, Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Leandro Trossard, and Eddie Nketiah. So pretty much, apart from Gabriel Jesus, it's pretty much full-strength Arsenal team, isn't it? Full-strength squad, basically. So there you go. For Manchester City then, they have got Stefan Ortega in goal. They're back for Kyle Walker, John Stones, Ruben Diaz, and Manuel Akanji. In midfield, Rodri, new signing Mateo Kovacic, and Bernardo Silva. And their front three, Jack Grealish, Julian Alvarez, and of course, Erling Haaland, who made his debut in last season's Community Shield, didn't he? And didn't play particularly well. On the bench then for Manchester City, it's Ederson, the goalkeeper, Calvin Phillips, Aymeric Laporte, Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Gomez, Bill Foden, Cole Palmer, Rico Lewis, and James McAtee. A couple of lads out of the academy there on the bench for Manchester City. So that's how your teams line up today. And what do we think of the Arsenal lineup? What do we think about that? Steve's in the chat there. Steve, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well over there in Australia. What's the weather like over there? Is it nice? It's picked up a little bit here today. It's been raining non-stop for about 6 weeks. So yeah, that's the Arsenal lineup. And I say we've gone full strength. I mean, Manchester City's first 11, apart from the goalkeeper, seems to be not far off their strongest side, apart from Kevin De Bruyne, of course, who's on the bench. He would go in, wouldn't he, in that midfield? So yeah, they've got a couple of big players not playing. And I say for us, it's only Gabriel Jesus, isn't it? The rest is pretty much full strength, isn't it? You know, pretty much full strength squad, even on the bench as well. Man City have included a few of their academy players on the bench. And I think that kind of just shows, doesn't it, the difference in where these two teams are at this moment in time. You know, I think it's obvious that Manchester City are a lot better off in terms of the players that they've got, in terms of the squad, and the fact that, you know, Pep's in a position now where he can afford to put some youngsters on the bench. Arteta feels the pressure on every game to try to win, and he doesn't feel as though he's got that faith in those young players to be able to come off the bench and make an impact. So he puts players on there. I mean, surely there's someone in the academy who would be a much better bet to have on the bench than Rob Holding or Fabio Vieira, for example. Surely there's better kids in our academy. There must be. You know, the academy's doing well. They've got some very good players in there. But there you go. Who are we to argue with with Mikel Arteta after all the fantastic things he's achieved for the club over the last few years? But anyway, it's an opportunity today, isn't it, to win a trophy. Start the season with a trophy. Not that it matters too much. Manchester City tend not to always take this as seriously as they might. And you can see by their results in this competition over the last few years, because they're in it nearly every year, aren't they? They haven't won it since 2019, I think was the last time they won it, wasn't it? Yeah, 2019. They've only won it 6 times. We've got a second best record, actually. We won it 16 times, one of which was shared over the course of history. So yeah, we actually won the very first ever Community Shield, because it changed the name from the Charity Shield in 2002, and we beat Liverpool that year. Goal to nil. It was a new signing that scored the winning goal that day, a midfield player, a holding midfield player in Gilberto Silva. So maybe it's Declan Rice's day today on his debut to score the winning goal in this Community Shield. His official debut, of course, he's played in the American tour. And in fact, all 3 of our new signings are in the side, aren't they? Timber, Rice, and Havertz are all there in the starting lineup today. So it'd be interesting to see how they get on in a game, you know, of this magnitude, if you like, at Wembley Stadium against the treble winners. We're going to get a much more of an idea, aren't we, about where this Arsenal team are. Not that this game is going to have much impact on where the season goes. Let's be honest, whoever wins or loses this game, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. But it's a test, isn't it? It's a strong Manchester City side. It's a side certainly as strong as a side that beat us 3 times last season. So the players are in the tunnel. Well, the Arsenal team are in the tunnel anyway, waiting to come out. Manchester City, their mascots are there waiting, but for some reason their actual players aren't out yet. So the mascots are standing on their own, looking across at the Arsenal players in the lineup. Arsenal will be wearing the traditional home kit, of course, of red shirts with white sleeves, white shorts, and red socks. Man City are going to be in their light blue, white. Excuse me. White shorts and blue socks, of course. So Martin Ødegaard, Arsenal's captain, will be leading us out. How much longer he's going to remain captain remains to be seen, doesn't it? I think Declan Rice is going to eventually take over that role. Probably not in the too distant future either. And Manchester City players are coming out now, getting ready to take the field at Wembley in this big game, the Community Shield. It's the second choice goalkeeper, Stefan Ortega, who is in goal today for Manchester City. He played against us in the FA Cup game, didn't he, that we lost 1-0. Kyle Walker it is, who's the captain of Manchester City today, leading the team out. Of course, vastly experienced player. We know that he is, Kyle Walker. So that is how we are getting ready now for the teams to enter the stadium here at Wembley. Steve said, I've been watching Women's World Cup, great game, USA versus Win. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of it, yeah. I didn't watch that game today. Unfortunately, the time of it wasn't suited to me. I'll watch highlights later. But yeah, I've been watching it. I'll be watching England tomorrow. So yeah, it's been a good World Cup. I agree. It's been some great games, some really, really good games. So I've enjoyed it. And let's hope that England can go a little bit further. Maybe Australia, we could meet, maybe, couldn't we, in the final, maybe, or something. We'll see. Anyway, the teams are now coming out into what looks like to be sunshine at Wembley, which is nice, isn't it? Because we haven't had much sunshine in the United Kingdom for the past few weeks, but we've got some sunshine today. Looks like very first game of the season type weather, doesn't it? With the sun out, the green grass, everybody looking suntanned and fresh, ready for the start of what's going to be a big season for both of these clubs, but particularly for Arsenal. I think with this season we do really need to get a trophy on the board, don't we? I don't have any doubt about that. With the investment, the money that we spent over the last couple of years, it's absolutely essential that we do win a trophy this season, and we've got everything in place to do so, haven't we? In terms of the squad, if this squad can't win the league, not necessarily the league can't win a trophy, I mean, then there's serious problems, isn't there? Anyway, the teams are now lining up in the sunshine at Wembley, and Gilberto Silva's there. That's nice, isn't it? So he did score the first goal ever in what was the first Community Shield back in 2002. It was his goal to beat Liverpool on his official debut for Arsenal, which was nice. And he's now shaking the hands of the current Arsenal team, who've got a long way to go yet to be able to live up to the achievements of Gilberto Silva's Arsenal team, of course, the Invincibles. Fantastic side they were, wasn't they? And Mike Summerby as well is the Manchester City legend, representing the teams today. Of course, he was a great player for Manchester City, but didn't quite have the same success on the field as Gilberto did, of course, for us. Different era, of course, when Mike Summerby played for Manchester City, and they were successful for what they were. And a hug there with Mikel Arteta, which is nice, isn't it? And we've got Jota in the chat in, my friend. Good to see you again after you say you've enjoyed the summer. Only pre-season still, I guess. But good for domestic football to be back, and of course, you too, Rich. Yeah, no, it's good to be back on the channel. Good to see. I'm sure there'll be some familiar faces. As I say, Steve's already been in, and you're in as well. I'm sure there'll be a few more familiar faces as we go through the afternoon, and of course, looking ahead to the new season as well, which is going to be exciting, isn't it? I'm sure all set to be a very, very good season for Arsenal, which is what we want to see, isn't it? I say I'm not reading too much into today's result too much. It'd be nice if we can put in a good performance against the top side. However Pep's dressing this up to say Man City are maybe behind us in terms of preparation. It's still virtually their full strength team apart from Kevin De Bruyne and the goalkeeper. So I just want to see us perform against them, because we haven't managed to do that, have we, really, over the last few years, and certainly not last season. Those 2 Premier League defeats were not the only reason we didn't win the league, but they went a long way to deciding that, didn't they? Those 2 really bad defeats against Manchester City, particularly the one at the Etihad towards the end of the season, which that was I think that was a moment where we all realised that this team, this squad, wasn't good enough, wasn't quite good enough to take that next step, which is to go on and be able to really win a league title, as opposed to, you know, having a good first half of the season. It's not enough, is it, when it comes down to this squad? So we've improved, haven't we? You know, Declan Rice has come in. Is he an upgrade on Granit Xhaka? We'll have to wait and see. He's certainly younger, isn't he? Often he's got different strengths and weaknesses, so we'll see how that works out. I think Timber's going to be a good defensive signing, isn't he? Very versatile player. And of course, Kai Havertz, who's been a bit controversial, hasn't he? I think Kai Havertz is a very good player, actually. And I think that maybe in our team, with our system, he could really thrive. I don't like a false nine. I've said it before. And that seems to be how we're going with it today without Jesus. I mean, Jesus is kind of a false nine anyway, isn't he? I don't like a false nine. It's just not my preference of a style of play. You know, and although Manchester City have played like that for quite a long time, of course, last season with Haaland, they played a more traditional kind of striker up front, didn't they? And I kind of enjoy that more. I enjoy watching that type of game with a proper centre forward, if you like. And I'd love to see us buy one, even if it was only as a backup, as a plan B. Someone that you can throw on with 20 minutes to go if you're losing a game, you know, or someone who can keep possession, hold the ball up if you're winning a game, because that can be just as important, kind of keeping the ball in the other final third of the pitch, up the other end of the pitch. You're less likely to concede a goal. So I'd like to see us have one of those players in the squad as an option, personally. That's just my personal preference of it all. That's what I'd like to see. But let's just see what happens. Obviously, although the season started next week, the Premier League season, there is, of course, the transfer window is still open. So we've got the opportunity to buy some more players, and hopefully we will. I do think we need two more, really, realistically. I think we need another player in midfield, give us another option in there. And I say I'd like to see a centre forward who can, you know, be that traditional kind of centre forward. I'd say even if it's just as a plan B option, that's fine. I don't necessarily expect them to. I don't expect Mikel Arteta to change the way he plays in the way that Pep maybe did last season with Haaland, but I'd certainly like to see that as an option, as a plan B. So let's see what happens. There's still time left. Let's see who we get, if we get anybody else in. I think if we don't buy anybody else, I don't know what you guys think, but I think if we don't buy anybody else, this squad is still not strong enough in depth. You look at our bench today, I mean, it's pretty much a full-strength squad, and we've still got Rob Holding on there. We've still got Fabio Vieira on there. We've still got Eddie Nketiah on there. You know, we've still got Takehiro Tomiyasu, who's not going to play. You know, Matt Turner's not going to play much. So, you know, the bench is still kind of weak, isn't it, when you look at it like that? So we do need some more strength in depth. You look at Manchester City's bench today. Yes, they've got a few youngsters on there, of course. 3 youngsters from the academy, although Cole Palmer and Rico Lewis both, of course, played quite a number of games last season. But, you know, even their squad players, you know, Laporte, De Bruyne, who's on the bench today, Phil Foden, you know, they're all better than pretty much anyone we've got on our bench. And that's the difference. And they've still got other players to come back in, haven't they? So, you know, and Manchester City are the benchmark, aren't they? They're the team that everybody's got to set themselves out to try to beat. Because if you're going to win the league, in fact, if you're going to pretty much win anything that they're in, they're the team you're going to have to beat at some point, probably, aren't they? So, you know, it's a test for us today. Let's see how we get on. Now, we are going to be kicking off. We are attacking the goal to our left in this first half in the sunshine at Wembley. I say Arsenal in red. I say we were attacking the goal to our left. We are taking kick-off here. Starting off the new season in the traditional game. Kai Havertz, it is with his first kick in an Arsenal shirt officially, if you like. Plays the ball back to Aaron Ramsdale. It's the same kick this time from Ramsdale up this near side. Again, Havertz tries to flick it on. He's had certainly a lot of height. He's a very tall player, isn't he, Kai Havertz? Taller than maybe you'd expect him to have been. Anyway, Arsenal straight away looking to get the ball forward. Thomas Partey in midfield loses out. Manchester City straight away coming forward. Actually, the light's very poor on here, actually, with the camera in the sunshine. But anyway, difficult to make out the Manchester City players. Akanji plays it back to Ruben Diaz and goes back to goalkeeper Stefan Ortega. Their number 2 goalkeeper. Got the ball at his feet, just rolls it in to Rodri. Now he's played to John Stones. Had a good season, didn't he, last season? John Stones had a bit of criticism, hasn't he, over the years? Big transfer fee, of course. But he's had a good career, hasn't he? Gabriel there fouls Alvarez. It's a free kick. The referee, by the way, is Stuart Atwell. Not that it makes any difference because they're all as bad as each other. We know how terrible these referees are. But, I mean, that was a foul. You can't argue with that. It was definitely a foul from Gabriel. And it is a free kick to Manchester City on this near side there, left. Their right, sorry, our left, and it is taken already, and the ball's gone back to goalkeeper Stefan Ortega. We've played nearly a minute and a half. It is still obviously Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. No real pattern to this game yet at all. Manchester City just looking to play it out from the back. Arsenal pressing quite high up the pitch. Martin Ødegaard leading that press, as you would expect. But Manchester City just knocking it around. It's back out on its near side with John Stones. Just brings it infield and then plays it square across to Ruben Diaz. Just lays it off to Rodri, just sitting in front of that defence. Now Rodri can bring the ball forward for Manchester City. Important player for them, isn't he, Rodri, in that midfield. Ball out that far side to Akanji, goes back again to Ruben Diaz, and now it's back to Stefan Ortega, the German goalkeeper. This time he goes long towards halfway, looking for Erling Haaland. A good header actually there from William Saliba. And Arsenal now got the ball in their defensive third, and now it's back with Aaron Ramsdale. Wearing all black, the Arsenal goalkeeper, that new goalkeeper kit, which is probably the best kit that we've actually released this summer. Once again, free kits. Too many, isn't it? Anyway, a long kick there, looking for Kai Havertz, who flicks it on. Nobody was reading it. Saka was too far away. And maybe that's what's going to happen here, isn't it? You know, them long balls. Kai Havertz is going to win a lot of headers, isn't he? Because he is a very tall player. I say a lot taller than I kind of imagined that he was. Obviously, when he plays for Chelsea, he's the same height, I suppose. John says, our press is so high at times with Ødegaard so forward, it looks like a 4-4-2. Yeah, it does, of course. And if a team breaks that press, then we're going to be short of numbers behind, aren't we, potentially? That's always the danger, isn't it? But that's what happens when you do a high press. When you play it out from the back and you play a high press, it is a high-risk game, isn't it? Anyway, Manchester City are coming forward over on that far side. Akanji there is fouled by Martin Ødegaard, trying to get back. And Akanji's not very happy with that. And the referee is just has a quick word there with the Arsenal captain. No yellow card at this stage. You only played 3 minutes. You do tend to get away with a few things early on in games, don't you? Even for fouls that later on would produce a yellow card. Anyway, it's a free kick to Manchester City, which they've taken again in possession inside at the centre circle with John Stones. Just plays it into Rodri, knocks it back to Ruben Diaz. Manchester City have had the more possession in these opening 4 minutes or so, quite a lot more possession, but they haven't really got into our half yet, so it's not like they've caused us too many problems. The game's almost played at a walking pace, to be honest. There's not the intensity that we're going to expect from the games in the Premier League, of course. Starting next weekend, Nottingham Forest, of course, are Arsenal's first visitors to the Emirates in our first game of the season next week, which is a good opportunity for us to start with 3 points, isn't it? A home game's always nice, and against a team that you imagine is going to be fighting relegation, it's nice, isn't it, to start with a winnable game, shall we say? I mean, we should win. We should be expected to win most of our home games, really, shouldn't we, if we're going to be challenging for the title? But certainly Nottingham Forest is a good start, isn't it, for us? We've got some tougher tests, of course, to come as the season progresses. Arsenal still pressing high, but Manchester City aren't bothered about that. And why would they be? They're very comfortable with the ball at their feet, aren't they? And Rodri's got it now, still inside the Manchester City half, comes towards halfway, pings the ball out to that far side. That's a good ball. And suddenly Akanji striding forward for Manchester City over on that far side. Can he get across? And he does. The header comes in, and it's gone. It was Alvarez, actually. It comes back in again towards the far post. Jack Grealish and Saka are there, and Saka tied these up. Not quite sure what happened with a header there from Alvarez, actually. It was good play down that far side from Manuel Akanji. Did really well. Got to the byline, put a cross in, and not a great header, actually, from Alvarez. And Manchester City there with the first real attack coming forward again down this near side with Bernardo Silva with his short hair, cuts inside, twisting and turning away from that Arsenal defence. He's got Kyle Walker outside him. Timber goes across. The lucky deflection comes back to Kyle Walker. Actually, now it's with Bernardo Silva again. Good feet from him. Skip past a couple of challenges. Someone's lost a shin pad. Not quite sure who it is, or a boot, is it? Anyway, it's still on the pitch. And Manchester City still in possession as well. Now we've got Rodri, plays it square. Manchester City now looking to get a shot on goal. Haaland inside the penalty. It's cleared away there by Timber up to halfway. But there's no Arsenal player in the Manchester City half. And there's still that boot on the pitch, actually. I'm not sure whose boot it is. Somebody's lost a boot. Can't see who it is, actually. But anyway, I'm sure someone will claim it very shortly. We've played 6 minutes. It is still Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0. Steve says there, I've seen the draw. First 8 games. It should start first 8 games. Yeah, I mean potentially, but you know, all games should be winnable for us, or equally they can be losing games, can't they? Anyway, it was Timber's boot actually that came off, and he's now gone to go and get it and put it back on. Manchester City did kick the ball out to allow him to do that. They're showing that cross again from Akanji. The header there from, in fact, it was Ben White just flicked it ahead of Alvarez actually. Otherwise, that could well have been 1-0 to Manchester City. Good defending that was from Ben White. And I think it's going to be a throw to Arsenal, but I'm assuming we'll throw it back to Manchester City because they did kick it out to allow Timber to get his boot back on. But that was a first big chance of this game, but really good defending it was there from Ben White. And Odegaard does indeed give the ball back to Manchester City, to Ruben Diaz, and we carry on with City in possession as they have been for most of this first 8 minutes. This is the thing against Manchester City. You know you're probably not going to have a high percentage of possession of the ball. So when you've got it, you've got to make the most of it. We just won it back there in midfield with Martinelli's got the ball again. Martinelli tried to flick it, but he's lost out, and now Manchester City can counter-attack. And there was a foul there, was there, on Alvarez, and the referee, it was by Thomas Partey. The referee has given a free kick to Manchester City. Yellow card, actually, for Thomas Partey already. Wow, we said you don't often get a yellow card for fouls early in the game, but Thomas Partey's been booked there for that foul on Alvarez there. Didn't see much in that, actually. It certainly didn't seem worthy of a yellow card, did it? But anyway, Thomas Partey's been booked very early in this game, which could be a problem, couldn't it? He's got to go through 82 minutes on a yellow card playing in that midfield area. So yeah, not quite sure what that decision was all about, if I'm honest. But anyway, it is what it is. It's been given, and Thomas Partey has got to be very careful, hasn't he? Because otherwise he could be in some trouble here. Anyway. Jota says yellow card for tapping the ball away. Seriously, well, it couldn't have been for the foul, could it? I mean, he didn't even kick the ball away, did he, really? So I'm not quite sure what that was all about. But anyway, referees are still being referees, aren't they? They're certainly not going to improve this new season, are they? There's no doubt about that. We're not expecting them to. Anyway, Arsenal now looking to get a bit of possession. Timber's done well on this near side, bringing the ball forward, finds Gabriel Martinelli on this near side. Arsenal's left. Gabriel Martinelli steaming on. Is he going to get to the byline? He does get to the byline, but he's crowded out by 2 Manchester City players, Walker and Bernardo Silva. But he does keep possession. And now it's Gabriel. Plays it back to William Saliba. Good to see William Saliba back in a new number as well, number 12 for William. Number 2, sorry, for William Saliba. Number 12, of course, last season. Saka now have his first chance to have a run at Akanji. Gets past Akanji, but he can't get a cross in. Good defending in the end by the Manchester City player. And it's going to end up being a goal kick, actually. It must have come back off Saka. Saka looked like he'd beaten him there, tried to pull the ball back. In fact, looked like it should have been a corner, actually. And Saka thought it was a corner as well, but it was given as a goal kick, so there you go. So the referee, already 10 minutes into the new season, has made 2 very, very strange decisions already. If that's a sign of things to come for the season, then we're going to have some fun with the referees again, aren't we? Russ in the chat here. Russ, good to see you, my friend. Hope you enjoyed the summer. Not that we've had much of a summer, have we? Certainly weather-wise. But anyway, at least we had a bit of a break from football, which is good because we needed one, I think. But it's back. We've played 10 minutes of the new season. Technically, what's considered the start of the new season, and it's not been too exciting so far, has it? Very, very slow pace to this game. It's been played at Manchester City's pace. They're dictating the play in these opening 10 minutes. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0 here at a sunny Wembley. And Arsenal looking for a trophy to start the season. So we've won this. Only Manchester United have won the Charity Shield, Community Shield more times than Arsenal, 16. They've won it 21 times. But we're the second most successful team in this competition. But we haven't lost a Community Shield for quite a long time, have we? In fact, I think 2006 was the last time we lost one, when we lost to Chelsea. So we've got a reasonably good record in this. And we've only ever lost once at Wembley to Manchester City as well, once out of 4 times. And that was, of course, in the League Cup final in 2018 when We lost that game 3-0, of course, if you remember. That's the only time they've beaten us at Wembley. So although they've got a great record against us in the Premier League and in every other competition we've played them in recent years, at Wembley we've got the upper hand with 3 wins, of course, 2 FA Cup semi-final victories, as we know, and of course a Community Shield victory as well. Back in 2014, we won 3-0, didn't we, on that particular occasion? There's only been actually, obviously, Arsenal in this competition as league runners-up. Only twice in history has a league runners-up ever won the Community Shield or the Charity Shield. The first occasion was in 1999 when we beat treble winners actually that year, Manchester United, didn't we? If you remember, we beat them 2-1. I think Ray Parlour might have scored a goal in that Community Shield. And the other time was in 2010 when Manchester United beat double winners Chelsea. So it doesn't happen very often that the league runners-up win the Community Shield. The FA Cup winners do. In fact, the FA Cup winners have won it on 28 occasions, and the league champions 53 times. So the league champions more likely do win it, but I say in terms of league runners up, only twice before has they ever won it. Anyway, Bernardo Silva's coming forward for Manchester City, plays the ball in, looking for Haaland, who's barely had a kick so far. Not that matters too much because he doesn't need many kicks in the game, does he, Haaland, to have an impact. So I'm sure he'll play some role in this game later on. But so far, I think he's touched the ball once. Wayne's in the chat in. Wayne, he says those FA Cup wins are the only time we've beaten Pep City teams, I think. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, I think they are. Because obviously when we beat him in the Community Shield, Pep wasn't manager, was he? And we've not beaten him in the Premier League since long before Pep's day. So yeah, you're right. Those 2 FA Cup wins are our only wins against Pep's Manchester City. So it's time we need to put that right, don't we? And it's like, is it a confidence thing with us? I'm not sure whether we've got that hanging over us. You know, there's a few teams that seem to have a sign over us that we don't seem to be able to beat. I mean, obviously, Pep's Manchester City are a very good side, but I wouldn't be surprised if every other team in the Premier League has beaten them at some stage. We're probably the only team that hasn't. So there's a reason for that. And Man City trying to come forward again. Good defending that was there by Williamson, but we've given the ball away to Haaland, and now Man City, Rodri on the edge of the box, tries a shot. Oh, it's just wide. Did that take a deflection? Because it's Ramsdale looked as though he'd beaten him actually there. It was laid off to him there by Alvarez. In fact, it did get a deflection off Declan Rice, and it's gone behind for a corner to Manchester City. Almost like it was going to fall in, drop in that bottom corner there, but it's just gone wide. It's the first corner of the game to Manchester City, the first shot of goal as well. We've played 14 minutes. It's a corner to City over on that far side. Jack Grealish is going to take his curled in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's cleared away by Declan Rice, I think it was. It's come out though to Kyle Walker. He's going to put it back into that Arsenal penalty area again. Header away by Timber. Bernardo Silva just touches it off to Rodri. Manchester City looking quite dangerous here. John Stones on this near side. Plays it back to Bernardo Silva. Man City are comfortable possession that they've had in these opening quarter now of this game. They're in possession again. Rodri plays up this near side to John Stones. Plays it back to Rodri in to Kovacic. He's a new signing, isn't he? I didn't realise that Man City had bought Kovacic until I saw the line-up today. I forgot about that. But yeah, Kovacic is in this Manchester City team today. Jack Grealish then lays that ball off to Ruben Diaz, and now it is with John Stones again, flicks it in to Kovacic, and he plays it back to Kyle Walker inside the centre circle. The game is being played at a walking pace. It's not much excitement happening so far. Hopefully it'll liven up a bit later on. Man City now are coming forward over on that far side. Kovacic again in possession, plays the ball back now to Rodri, brings the ball forward now, plays out to that far side to Akanji, Manchester City's left. Gets it back again, Akanji, the Swiss defender, plays it square to Ruben Diaz, and that's with John Stones. Man City dominating possession. They're in the Arsenal half without really threatening a goal at this point. They've had that one shot from Rodri that was deflected wide by Declan Rice. Now Arsenal coming forward, Man City, coming forward again over on that far side. Arsenal, everybody behind the ball, trying to shut those spaces down, which you have to do against Manchester City, don't you? Because if you allow them any space at all, they will punish you. It happened last season to us, didn't it? Them 7 goals they scored in the Premier League. And see it now coming forward again. Bernardo Silva on this near touchline, running towards Timber, plays it back instead to Kyle Walker. Man City so comfortable in possession. Kai Havertz there tries to win it back off John Stones and does well actually. Kai Havertz, and he's done well again inside the centre circle. He was pulled his shirt there, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. That was great play that from Kai Havertz. The one time we've really pressed, he pressed there, won the ball, and then got his shirt pulled by Rodri. See that if Thomas Partey was booked, then surely Rodri should have been booked as well. But anyway, it is a free kick to Arsenal inside at the centre circle. And the referee is going over to the far side. Is he? What's he going over there for? To the technical area, the coaches. Is he going to have a word with Arteta? He's been given a yellow card, Arteta, for speaking to the 4th official, obviously asking the same question we were. In fact, he is showing a yellow card. Arteta waving an imaginary yellow card. John says there's no yellow for that crazy decision yet. I mean, and then now Arteta's just got a yellow card for complaining about it. There you go. Anyway, Thomas Partey's going to take this free kick, dinks the ball over the top, looking for Saka, but he's overhit that, and it's going to run through to goalkeeper Ortega. 17.5 minutes played here at Wembley. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0, the Community Shield. We're only here by default, let's remember, finishing second in the league, didn't win any trophies because Man City won them all. So, you know, what can you do? But we're here, and we're going to try and win this first sort of trophy of the season. Anyway, it's Man City dominating this game so far. They're coming forward to go over Kanji over on that far side. Plays the ball square to Kovacic. A shot comes in again from distance. Again, I think it's Rodri. In fact, it wasn't. It was Alvarez who's hit that shot wide. Again, it's deflected. It's going to be another corner to Manchester City. And they have definitely been the much better team, haven't they, in these opening exchanges here at Wembley. And they've got their second corner of the game, Manchester City. Howard Webb is in the crowd. Of course, he is the new... I expect it's a goal kick to Arsenal. It wasn't a corner, sorry. It looked like it maybe got a deflection. It was just a poor shot then, wasn't it? Wayne says, you're ahead of me by like a minute, and I'm watching it on ITV. I'm watching on ITV as well, actually. I don't know how I'm ahead then, but anyway. Maybe there's a time lag somewhere in between. But anyway, Declan Rice has just gone down again. That's a foul inside the centre circle. It was Bernardo Silva there. Declan Rice winning a header. He's not had much impact on this game yet, Declan Rice, has he? In fact, none of the 3 new signings have done much, but that's only because Arsenal haven't had the ball. John says, goals, only thing that matters, but possession stats are interesting. 85% to Man City. Yeah, I mean, they've had all the ball, haven't they? I mean, there's no doubt. It's been clear by watching it. If that's the stats, then I'm not surprised by that. Very, very high possession stats from Manchester City. But yeah, that's how the game's panned out so far. We played nearly 20 minutes as well. So we're nearly midway through this first half, coming up in a few minutes' time, and Arsenal barely touched the ball. Be interesting to know what the number of passes is, because Man City will be miles ahead in that as well, won't they? Anyway, Ortega's gone long over on that far side. Akanji fixed it on well, actually. Finds Jack Grealish. Akanji again. He's had a good start to this game, Akanji, getting forward down that far side. He has again. Can he get across? And he does dig out across. Bernardo Silva's going to be underneath this, is he? It does fall to him, but not quite, because Declan Rice is there. Intercepts that ball, and then Martinelli plays it back to Gabriel now with Aaron Ramsey. Under pressure there from Alcaraz, forced into, had to rush that a little bit there, the Arsenal goalkeeper. But Arsenal can manage to get it away now, looking for Kai Havertz. Holds the ball up well, actually, Kai Havertz. Nice layoff as well to Martinelli on this near side. Arsenal's first real opportunity to get the ball towards the Manchester City penalty area. Timber got forward, but couldn't keep possession. And again, the ball's back with Manchester City again. Bernardo Silva. They don't rush things, do they, Man City? Just play their game, look for a simple pass, keep the ball. Haaland's dropped really deep there to get a touch, because he's not really seen much of the ball, has he, in his opening 20 minutes? Frustrating for a striker, isn't it? When you're up there, you don't get the ball. It can be really, really frustrating. Anyway, Man City now back in possession again with Ruben Diaz, plays it square to John Stones. Arsenal putting no pressure on the ball. So Man City just slow it down again, take their time, knock a few passes, add to those possession stats, which I agree aren't very important necessarily, but when we do get the ball, we are going to have to keep or try and keep it and make use of it, aren't we? Because we're not going to see much of it if this game carries on in the way that it has done. Anyway, Haaland now looking to get clear. Lovely touch from Haaland on the edge of the box. He's surrounded by 4 Arsenal defenders, and it's Thomas Partey who brings the ball away. Lovely takedown that was there from Haaland on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Anyway, Wayne says, I figured it out. Must have been rewound earlier on my Virgin remote. Everything is back in order. Oh, good that you've caught up with us. I was going to say, it does seem strange if you watch it on ITV. I know sometimes if you watch it on sort of iPlayer or something like that, it can be slightly behind, can't it? But it certainly shouldn't be if you watch it on ITV. Anyway, Timber's just been fouled there by Bernardo Silva. And again, the referee is not wanting to produce a yellow card for any of the Manchester City players. Arteta speaking to the 4th officials, he's going to have to be careful or he'll get sent off. He'll get sent to the, I don't know where they go at Wembley. Just go back inside, I'm not sure. I'll never forget that time when Wenger got sent off at Old Trafford and had to stand there, didn't know where to go. That was one of Wenger's most memorable moments, wasn't it? That day when he got sent off. We had a goal disallowed, didn't we? That was what brought that on, actually. Unbelievable, we had a goal disallowed at Old Trafford. Who would have thought it? Anyway, it's a throw to Man City over on that far side. There's quite a lot of empty seats at Wembley for this traditional curtain raiser. Although that may have been actually, that might be in the posh seats actually. That's got the empty seats. Man City in seems quite full actually, which is the end. Arsenal attacking in this first half. Coming forward now, John Stones finds Kyle Walker on this near side. A little bit of acceleration from him. Keeps that ball in. But goes back instead to John Stones again, plays it square to Rodri. Now it's into Kovacic. Man City keeping up this possession, not giving the ball away, are they? John Stones thought about a cross instead, played the ball square back to Rodri, and he pings it over to that far side to Akanji. He's seen a lot of the ball. Jack Grealish, who hasn't done, but he is now. Jack Grealish goes past one challenge from Ødegaard. He's still going. Jack Grealish overran that a little bit, so Declan Rice stepped in. But Manchester City pick up the second ball as they've done pretty much all the way through this game so far. Now it's Ruben Diaz brings it forward. Now the ball played in, looking for Haaland again. Good defending that was from Gabriel. And now Arsenal can get a bit of possession with Thomas Partey, and Haaland fouled Thomas Partey there. It's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. So we're about midway through this first half. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. It's been all Manchester City possession. But no real clear-cut opportunities at goal at either end. Arsenal haven't even had a shot yet at goal, have we? So it's been a slow start, shall we say, from Arsenal. But it's still early days. We may well grow into this game, but so far, Arsenal not really created anything, have we, of note at all. We've barely had the ball. Declan Rice has got it now, though. Plays it square to William Saliba. Declan Rice just sitting in front of that back four, as we kind of expected that he might do that role, the number 6 role, if you like. I don't like calling positions by a shirt number because he wears number 41. Anyway, Arsenal are coming forward now on that far side. Is this going to be the first chance for a shot, a goal? It's Kai Havertz inside the area. Oh, good save for the goalkeeper, Martinelli, blocked. There, Arsenal claiming handball. The first shot was a good save, actually. It was Gabriel Martinelli. And then the rebound, is this going to be, I mean, they're looking at it now maybe for a penalty. It was really good play over on that far side. Ben White, Kai Havertz it was. His shot was saved by the legs of the goalkeeper, and then Martinelli's shot was blocked. Don't think it was handball. Good play from Ben White over on that far side. Lovely ball into Kai Havertz, shot on the turn, saved by the goalkeeper. Martinelli's shot there, hit the chest there of John Stones. That's no way is that a penalty. But came close there, the first shot on target. I think it is actually Kai Havertz shot there on the turn. That's what he can bring as that centre forward. And then Martinelli's follow up there. John Stones got the block inside the 6-yard box. Good defending that was actually. And a good save from the goalkeeper, but that was better for Arsenal. Suddenly we got the ball forward and Kai Havertz showing his quality there with a shot on the turn. A good save. Of course, he did score a goal, didn't he, against Manchester City in the Champions League final, didn't he, a couple of years back for Chelsea. So he does know how to score on big occasions against Manchester City, doesn't he? So he came close there as well. Our first shot on target in this game. Our first shot of any note in this game, actually. And there you go. So better from Arsenal, though. Like I said, you see, it doesn't matter how much possession you have; it's what you do with the ball when you've got it. And now we did, and now Kai Havertz is getting booked as well for a trip. Manchester City have committed 3 or 4 fouls, not got booked. Kai Havertz has committed 1. Thomas Partey has committed 1, and they've both been booked already. I mean, that was a silly trip actually from Kai Havertz. That probably was worth a booking if we're totally honest. Just says, I guess with Martinelli not claiming for it, I shouldn't have got so excited, but I still screamed for it like a madman. Good to have Arsenal playing again. Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like it was a clear one, did it? But I mean, you saw the replay. Obviously, it hit his chest. Not even worth VAR getting involved in that one, was there? But that was much better from Arsenal. You know, and that's what we can do when we come forward. Good play from Ben White initially, actually, over on that far side. I say Kai Havertz did well there, held the ball up with his back to goal, got a shot away on the turn, and that's what you want to see. You know, I said before, didn't I want a more traditional kind of centre forward in the team, and maybe Kai Havertz can. I know it's more of a false 9 that he plays, but you know he's got the physical presence, hasn't he, to be able to hold the ball up, and obviously he's good in the air as well. So yeah, maybe he can be the answer. Kovacic now for Manchester City, good defending that was though from Gabriel, and Arsenal now. So when I come forward, Declan Rice plays it up this near side to Timber. The 2 new signings there combining. And Timber just goes back to Gabriel. Now it's with William Saliba, who's, you know, last season we said he was like a new signing coming from being on loan, and now coming back from injury is like a new signing again, isn't he? Anyway, Saka now in possession, very central for Arsenal. Plays up this near side. Timber is bombing forward for Arsenal. The Dutch defender, of course, new signing this summer. Looked impressive in pre-season, hasn't he? You know, Arsenal in possession over on this far side. Arsenal looking to just keep the ball maybe for a bit, because we've not seen much of it, have we, so far? We've played nearly half an hour and we've barely touched the ball. But we have had a good chance to score, and now we're coming forward again over on that far side. But that's a misunderstanding there between Martinelli and Erdegaard, and the ball's gone out for a throw to Manchester City. 28.5 minutes on the clock. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. Not too much to get excited about, but there was that one effort there. Well, 2 efforts actually, wasn't it? It was Kai Havertz's first effort and then Martinelli's follow-up. And that's pretty much all there's been to get excited about so far in this game. Other than that, it's just been a lot of safe Manchester City possession, mainly in their own half, although they've had 1 or 2 shots from distance that haven't really caused too many problems for Aaron Ramsdale. Of course, a lot of talk of David Raya, isn't there, potentially joining? I wonder what will happen if we get David Raya, whether or not he's going to become the new number 1. Personally, I think that would be a very good signing. I think he's a very good goalkeeper, and Aaron Ramsdale's got those lapses of concentration in him, unfortunately. It happens too many times, and I think if you're going to win big trophies, you know, I think you need a better goalkeeper than Aaron Ramsdale. And it does remind me a little bit of the John Lukic, David Seaman situation back in 1990. You know, John Lukic had done well for Arsenal. He was a very good goalkeeper. But David Seaman obviously was better. And we soon found that out. And maybe it'll be the same with Raya. You know, I'm not saying Ramsdale's a bad goalkeeper, but he got these lapses of concentration. He makes mistakes. Sometimes, crucially, he's almost made one there, actually. He put under pressure from Haaland. He had to rush that clearance. He got away with that one. But yeah, it's sometimes that does worry me a little bit with Ramsdale. And it is a concentration issue there. In fact, the ball, it ran away from him there, the ball. It was, you know, he was put under pressure from Haaland. He had to rush his clearance a little bit. And these are the sort of things that he's got in him. And he does it, it's creeping more and more into his game, isn't it, over the last year or so. And maybe having competition is what he needs, but I actually think David Raya is a better goalkeeper. And I think David Raya fits the style of play, the way that we play, doesn't he, as well? So I think if we sign David Raya is bought to become number 1. And I think that's the way it is. But with the Champions League and whatnot, both goalkeepers will probably end up playing a few games. There's a yellow card now. Is that a Manchester City player getting booked? That would be a surprise, wouldn't it? For kicking the ball away there. Alvarez it was. Wayne says there, finally Alvarez booked 2. Yeah, I mean, if Thomas Partey got booked for kicking the ball away, then you have to say that is fair enough that Alvarez has got booked for kicking the ball away. Jota says, yeah, finally yellow card for City, took his time. Yeah, he did take his time. But anyway, let's see what happens. Anyway, Gabriel plays the ball back to Aaron Ramsdale again. And then he plays the ball to Declan Rice, just lays it off to Gabriel. Goes long into midfield, into the centre circle for Saka. That's a poor touch from Saka, actually. And Manchester City pick up the ball again. See, that's something that we've got to keep the ball better, because we know as soon as we lose it, we might not get it back again for 10 minutes. And, it's gone out for a corner to Arsenal there, actually. A mistake at the back from Manchester City. And the ball's gone out for a corner to Arsenal. First corner over on that far side. Ortega tried to keep the ball in there, but he maybe needed a left foot to clear that away. Instead, he tried to go with his right and couldn't keep it in. The Manchester City goalkeeper. And also got their first corner. First chance to really get that ball in that box there and cause a few problems to this Manchester City defence. It's going to be Saka with the corner from that far side. Arsenal's right is going to be an in-swing of his left foot, which is what he's very good at. Let's see where this one goes towards the near post. It's flicked on by a Manchester City player. Straight up in the air. Thomas Partey heads it down, but Manchester City clear it away with Kovacic it was. But Arsenal picked up possession. William Saliba put on a bit of pressure there, so goes back to Aaron Ramsdale. Again, Ramsdale takes a bit of a risk there with his first touch. Then his second touch is a clearance up the pitch. Good header that was, though, from Kyle Walker. Odegaard takes it down well. Plays it back to Ben White. Thomas Partey. Odegaard again over on that far side. Martin Odegaard moves in field. Manages to keep the ball. So it'll take a little bit too long there to pick his pass, but he's found Timber. And Timber now plays it to Martinelli on his near side. Arsenal's left. Gabriel Martinelli tries to go past Kyle Walker. He's just inside the penalty area now. Gabriel Martinelli plays it back to Thomas Partey. He thought about a shot. He had a couple of bangers, didn't he, last season? So he maybe fancied his chances again of another effort from outside the box, but instead he laid it off now. Martinelli again going around the outside, plays it in towards the near post. It's a slight clearance a bit there, actually, from John Stones. It's gone behind for another corner to Arsenal. Wayne says there, Odegaard touch it. It was a great touch there from Odegaard. We know that's what he's got in him, but I just want to see him have more influence in the big games, that's all. He's a very, very gifted player, there's no doubt about that. But just being a gifted player sometimes isn't enough, is it? You need to influence these big games. Martinelli with his corner now. Again, it's going to be an in-swing of his right foot from his near side. Back into... Oh, that's gone straight out, actually. Poor corner that was there from Martinelli. Waiters there. I thought no one beats Walker. Well, I don't think anyone beats Walker for pace, do they? That wasn't that Des Walker anyway, from back in the day, wasn't it? He was quite fast as well, wasn't he? Kyle Walker is probably faster. Anyway, it's a goal kick to Manchester City there, following that rather poor corner from Gabriel Martinelli, which went straight behind. Not ideal, that was it. But so we need to make the most of, one, we need to make the most of possession, and two, we need to make the most of these set pieces that we have as well, because I say we're not going to have the same amount of possession, are we? And we just need to be more productive with it. Maybe that's what we need. But anyway, let's see what happens in the rest of this game. Arsenal in possession now. William Saliba plays it into Thomas Partey on halfway. Dinks the ball over that far side, looking for Bukayo Saka, who's got him behind Akanji here. Bukayo Saka cuts in field. He's going to try a shot. He does try a shot. It's across the face of the goal. Saka said he got a deflection there, but the referee disagrees. That was better again from Arsenal, getting the ball out to Saka. Saka's not had much impact yet, has he? But he did there, cut inside as he likes to do. Got a shot away, always stretching a little bit for that shot. Always going to be difficult to curl that in the far post. There, as he was overstretching and it curled, but it curled far too late. And it's gone wide. And it is a goal kick to Manchester City, which they've taken. Wayne says there, yeah, I agree. Love Odegaard, but always need more in those tough away games. Liverpool, City, United, even Everton. Yeah, exactly. I just want to see him have more impact on those games. You know, he had a good impact at the Newcastle game away, didn't he? He scored a great goal and played well then, but he needs to do that more often. That's what the top players do, don't they? You know, I've always felt a little bit with Ødegaard that, you know, he scores a lot of goals against the Nottingham Forest of this world, teams like that. But when it comes down to the really big games, he tends not to produce as often. But anyway, let's hope this season he can start doing that a lot more consistently, because if he does, we'll have a much better chance of lifting trophies, won't we? If he can impact the big games as well. Russ says, I don't agree with these new ref rules. No, well, we don't agree with any referees' rules, let's be honest, because none of them make any sense today, most of the time. And what happens is at the start of every season, they change a few rules, don't they? There's chaos for about 3 or 4 weeks. And then they realise that actually this is stupid. So they change it back again, don't they? That's probably what happens, let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, it is madness, really, isn't it? Anyway, Carl Walker now heading towards his own goal, plays the ball back to goalkeeper Ortega. A little bit of pressure from Havertz, manages to get the ball out to the far side. We've played 37 minutes of, let's be honest, not very much, but Arsenal now coming forward again with Ben White. Plays it out to Bukayo Saka over on that far side. Bukayo Saka in possession, plays it back again to White into Martin Ødegaard. There's a little triangle between those three, often so effective. Bukayo Saka plays it back into Martin Ødegaard again. Saka now has to go all the way back to William Saliba. Now it's squared to Gabriel, bringing the ball forward. It's a good spell of possession for Arsenal, this actually. Probably our best spell of possession in the whole match so far. Declan Rice plays it squared to William Saliba. Just need to get used to him wearing number 2. Now the ball's played out to Saka over on that far side again. He's got 2 defenders for company, so plays it back to Ben White, and now it's back with William Saliba, now with Gabriel. This is better from Arsenal in terms of keeping possession. That will change them possession stats a bit, won't it? Gabriel now on his Gabriel Martinelli on his near side, plays the ball back into the centre circle to William Saliba, pings the ball through to Martin Ødegaard. That's a good ball. Martin Ødegaard now to Saka over on this far side. If Arsenal can get a goal on this move, it'll be fantastic, won't it? Martin Ødegaard plays it square to Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey cuts inside, finds Timber. Is Timber going to try a shot? No, he's not. He comes out to this near side to Martinelli instead. Arsenal keeping the ball well now. Timber again touches it back to Gabriel. Plays the ball through, looking for Kai Havertz. Not a great ball. A rush clearance actually. Kai Havertz has almost got an opportunity there. Let's see, he don't really clear the ball away. Arsenal back in possession now. Gabriel gets it back again. Declan Rice now pings it out to that far side. Ben White finds Bukayo Saka. We've played 39 minutes. Bukayo Saka running at that Man City defence again over on that far side. So Martin Ødegaard plays it back to Ben White again. Again, it's that little right-hand triangle for Arsenal that's worked so well. Plays it back now to Gabriel. Arsenal keeping possession really well here. But is it going to lead to anything? Is it going to lead to a shot, a goal, an opportunity to break the deadlock here at Wembley? We approach half-time. Bukayo Saka getting in again over on that far side. Pulls it back. Kai Havertz. Another good save from Ortega. 2 opportunities from Havertz. He maybe should have buried that one. That wasn't a great finish, actually, but good football from Arsenal. Now Haaland looking to get in over on that far side ahead of William Saliba. He does. Haaland's not had much of the ball. He's got it now, though. The Manchester City striker. And Havertz looks frustrated there. He should maybe have buried that one. Lovely play that was from Bukayo Saka over on that far side. Pulled the ball back to Havertz. He had a little bit of space inside the box. Now Bernardo Silva coming forward from Manchester City. Carl Walker's got on the overlap. But Bernardo Silva keeps the ball. Plays it back to Kovacic. Rolls it in. This is nice play now from Manchester City. Rodri on the edge of the penalty area looking for a little bit of space. Plays it in to Bernardo Silva, who thought he was fouled by Timber. The referee says no, and now Arsenal can counter here. Timber, Martin, Kai Havertz, sorry, going off ahead of him on this near side. But the momentum's come out of that attack a little bit now. Kai Havertz had a decent first half, I feel. He's had 2 chances, and that second one he should have buried. There's no doubt about that. But overall, I think his movement's good. He's working hard up there, and I think he's having a decent game. Just a shame he couldn't have finished that one off. Anyway, Bukayo Saka's had a lot more influence now in the last 5 minutes, as Arsenal have seen a lot more of the ball. That'll be the reason why. Thomas Partey just lays it off to Martin Ødegaard. Now it's back with William Saliba. But yeah, Arsenal maybe had the two best chances. In fact, the goalkeeper for Manchester City is made the only two saves of this first half. So you could say, although Man City have dominated the possession for much of it, Arsenal could easily be ahead, just taking one of those chances. But anyway, I said Justin Timberlake. Duran Timber now coming forward for Arsenal. Plays the ball back to Thomas Partey, brings it out to that far side to Ben White in the sunshine at Wembley. The sun is closing in. There's only a little bit left of sunshine over on that far corner. There's a long ball forward there looking for the run of Timbers. Very high up the pitch there. The Dutch defender couldn't get on that ball. It's run all the way through to Ortega. And that last save there from Havertz was a big moment in this game, actually, you feel. If Arsenal could get the lead, could make a big difference to the way this game plays out. Because at this moment, Man City will be reasonably happy, won't they? They've dominated the possession and restricted us to very few opportunities. But I say we've had those two shots on target, and had either of those gone in, it may have been a very different story in this game. Anyway, Bernardo Silva now coming forward for Manchester City on this near side. He's done well, Bernardo Silva. Good tackle there from Timber, but Bernardo Silva's going to pick that loose ball up again. He finds Kyle Walker, plays at the ball square to John Stones. And then it goes back to Kyle Walker again. And Man City again are keeping possession. Without really doing any damage to our defence at this moment in time. They're keeping possession again with Rodri inside at the centre circle now. Is that a shot he's tried from distance? Oh, and landed on the roof of the net. And Aaron Ramsdale's been caught out by that before, hasn't he? It was in the Europa League, wasn't it? And Rodri's seen him off his line there. He was on the edge of the penalty and Rodri's gone for it there. He was backpedaling there, Ramsdale. I think if that dips in, he may just have got it, but he's been caught out before doing that, hasn't he? Coming out of his goal. And that was Man City's first real effort on goal. And they're just showing the Kai Havertz one there. He needed to put that in the corner more, didn't he? It was a decent enough save. But yeah, he shouldn't have given him the opportunity to make that save, should he? Kai Havertz very close to an official debut goal there for Arsenal. In fact, twice he's come close. But Rodri there trying a spectacular from the halfway line and trying to chip Aaron Ramsdale. So he wouldn't be the first player to do that, would he? Anyway, Ortega now's got the ball at his feet just outside at the Manchester City penalty. Plays it long. Good defensive header that was from Timbers. Had a good first half as well. Martinelli running in towards his own goal. Lost possession to Alvarez plays it across the goal. Oh, just scrambled clear. Good defending there from William Saliba, I think it was. But Martinelli there got himself in a little bit of a muddle heading towards his own goal. Had the ball taken off him by Alvarez. His cross was cleared away by William Saliba. Good defending from Arsenal. City coming forward again on this near side. We're into the last 45 seconds of the first half. There's not going to be much stoppage time, is there? Because there hasn't been many stoppages. In fact, there's been no stoppages at all. So I'll be surprised if there's any stoppage time, maybe a minute perhaps. You know, Man City are coming forward now over on that far side. Have they won a corner? No, they haven't, because William Saliba is going to keep that in. But his clearance only going to find a Kanji over on that far side. Plays it into Kovacic, gets it back again. Now it's with Rodri bringing the ball forward for Manchester City. Dinks it out to Bernardo Silva. Now plays out this near side for Kyle Walker, having a run at Timber, but that's a poor touch from Kyle Walker. And it's gone out for a goal kick to Arsenal. And that is the 45 minutes up. Are we going to see any stoppage time? 3 minutes. Has he got 3 minutes of stoppage time in his first half? There's been no stoppages at all, has there? Anyway, just showing that moment there. Alvarez got clear. Put a dangerous ball across the box, and had William Saliba not got there, there would have been a tap in at the far post for Haaland, who's, I say, barely had a kick. And yeah, it's going to be 3 minutes. I don't know where that's come from, whether it's to do with the ball being out of play, I'm not sure. But anyway, there's going to be 3 minutes of stoppage time, and we've just played 30 seconds of that now. Aaron Ramsdale with that goal kick goes long up that far side. Jack Grealish wins a header. Only finds Martinelli. Arsenal back in possession again. We've certainly grown into this game, haven't we? We've been better in the last 10, 15 minutes of this half. It was all Manchester City pressure and possession, wasn't it, in the early stages? But we've grown into this game, and I say we've probably been the better team, haven't we, in the last 10 minutes, and had a couple of big chances as well. But one defensive mistake just a moment ago almost cost us as well. So it's finely balanced, this Community Shield, isn't it? Difficult to say at this stage which way it's going to go. But we've certainly finished the half well. And if we can take this into the second half as well, there's a good chance that we can lift that trophy for the 17th time, would it be? Well, 16th outright. And one shared, of course, with Tottenham in 1991. That was a poor game, wasn't it? I remember that. That was terrible. Anyway, Aaron Ramsdale's now got the ball on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. We've come up to 2 minutes of stoppage time played, so we're into the final minute here. Kai Havertz has dropped deep, laid that ball off over on that far side. Ben White scoops it forward, looking for the run there of Martin Odegaard, but it goes back instead to Ortega. Kyle Walker now coming forward. It's going to be Manchester City's last chance of this first half to give them the lead. Plays the ball square to Rodri. Again, though, Man City not looking in any hurry to get the ball into the Arsenal box, are they? Coming forward now, though, maybe they will. Kovacic, this is a dangerous run. He's gone past everybody, but couldn't get past William Saliba. A change of pace there from Kovacic that you don't see very often when he played for Chelsea there. But he certainly did well there. He went past 2 or 3 challenges. He got himself into the box. But William Saliba just ushered the ball behind. And it's a goal kick to Arsenal. And that will probably be that for this first half. By the time Ramsdale takes this goal kick, I'm sure the referee will blow his whistle. And it will be still all to play for in the second half, won't it? Very, very few chances, but Arsenal had the 2 best ones. That goal kick, and in fact, there goes the half-time whistle here at Wembley. It is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0 in a Community Shield. And yeah, Kai Havertz with the 2 big moments for Arsenal. Both efforts were saved by the Manchester City goalkeeper Ortega. The second one in particular was the big chance, wasn't it, when Saka pulled the ball back. And he should have maybe found a corner, but instead he hit it a little bit too close to the goalkeeper. It's a good save. But anyway, it is 0-0 at half-time. But Arsenal have grown into that game after a slow start. And we're certainly well involved, aren't we? And who knows? You know, we're still in there fighting, aren't we? We might have a good chance of getting the result that we want here, mightn't we? Let's have a look and see. So let's have a look. Just seeing what's been going on social media in that first half. Anything that we need to concern ourselves with? Probably not, actually. Jot says there, shame Nelson isn't fit. We now have Trossard, but feel it would be better suited for Reece, as Martinelli hasn't looked great. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if we get Rice and Nelson back in the team, a bit like the 1970s again, won't it? When we had Rice and Nelson. I think I put that comment on the screen, did I? I read it. Anyway, yeah, there it is there. So, yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? It would be like the 1970s. But, yeah, I mean, I'm still not 100% convinced about Reece Nelson, if I'm honest. I mean, I agree. Martinelli hasn't looked great in this game at all. I can see Trossard coming on in that second half, playing in that position where he's done well, hasn't he? When he's played previously. So yeah, let's see what happens. There's still obviously a long way to go yet. But yeah, it was a better finish to that half, wasn't it? I say we took a little bit of time to get going. We were a bit off the pace, weren't we? Right, okay, cool. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad first half, was it? What did you make of it all? Man City obviously had more possession, but we had the better chances, and that's kind of when you play Man City, you're probably going to expect that to happen. So what you've got to do is make the most of those chances, and unfortunately, wasn't able to do it. But I actually think Kai Havertz has played well. I really do. So yeah, reasonably good first half. You have to say we've defended fairly well throughout. Not that Man City have really posed too much of a threat to us, I suppose, but even so, we've defended well, and we've created the two best chances. So yeah, so far you could probably say so far so good. I'm still not 100% convinced about the way we've played, but certainly we've grown into the game. And yeah, we're well in there, aren't we? Well involved. And who knows, maybe we can win this Community Shield again, as we've won quite a few times in recent years, haven't we? Which is always nice. So let's see what happens. But yeah, a decent enough first half, wasn't it? So we've got to be reasonably happy with that. And yeah, let's see what happens in the second half and see if we can get some goals anyway. Hopefully a few for Arsenal would be nice, wouldn't it? Because so far we've not created too much, but yeah, when we have, we just need to be more clinical, don't we, in front of goal, because I say you don't get a bundle of chances against Man City there. So when you get them, you have to be more clinical there. But I say I'm not too disappointed with how Kai Havertz has played. I mean, yes, he should and maybe could have scored that goal. Maybe should have done, but even so, I've been pretty happy with how he's played. Actually, he's looked good. He's worked hard. So yeah, all looking good. But let's see what happens in the second half. So let's see what happens. But yeah, so yeah, not a bad first half, is it? So let me know. So let me know what you guys have made of that first half. We've got Emma Hayes and a rather trampy-looking Roy Keane in the studio, which is funny because if you've watched the Women's World Cup at all, and I have, and I think it's been great, all the shows have been 100% women presenters and women pundits, which is great. So I don't know why when it's a man's game, we can't have an all-male lineup. There's nothing wrong with that. If there's nothing wrong with it in the Women's World Cup, there's nothing wrong with it in the men's game either. I've got nothing against Emma Hayes, and she needs to be commenting more on the women's game. Personally, that's what I think. That's what she should be doing. But there you go. It's just strange how the two are different, aren't they? Wayne says, trampy looking Rocky. Well, he does, doesn't he, with his unkept beard and that. He just looks like a homeless person that you see outside the station begging for money. Just because he's got a little bit of a nice suit on. You take that away, just looking at it, he just looks like he hasn't slept for about 3 months. But anyway. We've got a comment here that says Casemiro levels above Partey and Rice. Well, I don't know about levels above. I mean, obviously Casemiro is a exceptionally good player. There's absolutely no doubt about that. What he's done at the top level is you can't argue with. But I think he's one player, Casemiro, and Arsenal have got Partey and Rice. So I do feel as though we're in a better position in that sense. But anyway, it's Casemiro's a great player. There's no doubt about that. But it's going to be interesting, isn't it, how Man United do this season? They did well last year. There's no question about that. They finished third, won the Carabao Cup. They've made some signings, of course, as we expected them to. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I think there's a few teams in and around that area that I'm kind of looking at, thinking, are they serious top four challenges this season? Aston Villa, another one. They've bought well. They had a great season last year. Obviously, Man United, as I say, Newcastle, we're expecting them to push on again this season and do better. Liverpool, I'm sure Liverpool will be much improved this season, looking at some of the signs they've made as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be, it's a big season coming up, isn't it? I don't think that top four is, we certainly can't take that top four for granted. Absolutely no chance. We need to be on our game, don't we? Still no striker. Well, no, you're right. I agree. I think Arsenal, Man United are similar, aren't we? In the sense that neither of us really have that striker. But you know, Rashford scored a lot of goals last season. He scored more goals than any of our sort of front players did. So, but yeah, Arsenal need a. I think we need a 25-goal striker. But we're not going to get one because that's not the way Arteta wants to play the game. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Wayne says, as much as I hate Emma for Chelsea, she's really good footballing mind, and I think it transcends her into the men's game too. No, I'm not saying it doesn't. Right? I'm not saying that women shouldn't be pundits in the men's game. I'm not saying they shouldn't be. What I'm saying is, in the Women's World Cup, there's been no men at all. And if that had been the other way round, there would be lots of complaints, wouldn't there? Why aren't, you know, if it was, say, in this game today, if Emma Hayes wasn't there and it was 3 men, you can imagine there would be comments saying, why isn't there any women pundits on the Community Shield coverage? But yet in the Women's World Cup, no one's really saying, why isn't there any men on there? You know, and I don't think any of these things should be done as a token gesture. What I'm saying is, you know, it should be equal and fair across it all, shouldn't it? And, you know, let's get some men involved in the Women's World Cup, and then it's fine having women involved in the men's game, isn't it, as well? It's fine. That's how it should be. It should be equal, shouldn't it? That's equality, isn't it? It's not equality having all women on one and having half women on the other. That's not equality, is it? Because there's not as many men on there. Do you see what I mean? That's not equality, is it? So, and I've got nothing against Emma Hayes other than the fact that she's manager of Chelsea, and yes, I don't like her in that setting. But no, she's got a great football knowledge. Of course she has. I'm not saying she shouldn't be a pundit in the men's game, but it just needs to be fair across the board, and it doesn't seem to be that way anymore, does it? But anyway, I've enjoyed the Women's World Cup regardless, because I don't really listen too much to the pundits anyway. I tend to switch on when the game starts and switch off when it finishes, and that's pretty much as far as it is, because I'm not really interested in what in all of that other stuff really, because it doesn't add anything to the coverage for me. That's not really what it does. You know, I want to see the game. We've all got eyes. We can make our own minds up about what we've seen, can't we? We don't need somebody else to tell us. And I prefer to do that. That's just me. But I understand there's a need for them, I suppose. And they've got to fill the airtime because they're on air, aren't they, for like 2 hours before the game sometimes and 2 hours after the game, especially on Sky. So, you know, they've got to fill the time with something, haven't they? But anyway, I mean, you know, just I just want to see it fair to everybody across the board and not just selectively fair, if you like. But anyway, of course, we'll be watching the Women's World Cup tomorrow. I'm fortunate, actually, that I'm not starting work tomorrow till 10:30, so I actually get to watch the England game. So that's great news for me. I won't be doing a watch-along now. I've got too much other things to sort out before work, but at least I can watch the game. And that's one good thing, isn't it? Because it's going to be good. And, of course, tomorrow night we're back, me and Andreas, potentially Amar as well. We will be looking back on that England game against Nigeria. Hopefully, England will have gone through to the quarter-final of the World Cup. But we'll be looking at that tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. So join us for that if you can. And Tuesday, we have got the Arsenal review show. It's slightly different this season. Adam's going to be hosting that one. Obviously, they'll be looking back on this Community Shield, looking back on the transfer window, looking at who else, other players, positions that we need to fill before the window shuts. Also, of course, looking ahead to the start of the Premier League season next weekend. So lots coming up on the channel this week. And, of course, should England women get through, we'll be looking at, is it, when do they play again? Is it Sunday, isn't it? I think it might be next Sunday. So, yeah, there'll be loads of stuff coming out. Of course, there'll be a watch-along and a Nottingham Forest game next week as well. And lots more besides. So make sure you do give us a subscribe to the channel as well. It actually marks a year this weekend since we hit 1,000 subscribers, actually. So that was a big moment. I remember it well. It was during a Crystal Palace watch-along last season, the first league game of the season, that we hit 1,000 subscribers. And, you know, we've grown steadily throughout this year. and we're still looking to keep growing. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We are going to be back now. You know, we've had a bit of a break from the men's team over the summer, just refreshing ourselves. Really, we've covered a bit of the Women's World Cup, of course, but we've been just having a bit of a break. We'll be back now, obviously, from today going forward. We'll be doing all the usual stuff that we brought you last season. Some new stuff as well. There's a couple of new shows I've got planned as well for this season, so stay tuned for all of that as well. So yeah, please consider subscribing as well. Don't forget as well, give us a like on this particular show, because it's always good to have a like, isn't it? So stick around for that. And ITV are just advertising the fact that tomorrow morning they're showing Colombia v Jamaica. At the same time, England are playing Nigeria, so no one's going to watch that game either, let's be honest. But anyway, let them crack on. So we get ready for the second half here from Wembley of the Community Shield. It is still Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. But I say Arsenal grew into that game, and yeah, we looked quite dangerous, didn't we? But I say we're going to have to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal, aren't we? Because I say we're not going to get a lot of the ball, are we? Again, you'd imagine. I'm sure Pep will be disappointed in Manchester City's use of the ball, because it didn't really cause us any problems, did they? It was fairly comfortable, wasn't it, for us throughout that first half. Defensively, there was one or two little moments, but not really much, was there? It was quite comfortable, I thought, for us defensively anyway, wasn't it? Just trying to sort my light out. It keeps flickering and going on and off. Not quite sure why. Maybe if I turn it off and turn it back on again. But anyway, still not really that bright, is it? But anyway, hopefully it'll be all right. Anyway, it looks as though the team may well be coming back out again. Well, the Manchester City subs are certainly. Calvin Phillips there, shaking hands there with Eddie and Ketia. Of course, they know each other from England duty, don't they? Good friends, those two. Calvin Phillips didn't play much, did he, for Manchester City last season? I wonder if he's going to play more this season. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Man City are coming back out for this second half. Not sure if there's going to be any changes from either side. You don't imagine Arsenal will make any changes, because we don't tend to, do we? Very often. Have Manchester City changed their goal? I don't know, but no. Edison's just there in his green top. I don't know if he's going to maybe come on a bit later. Zinchenko's there chatting to some of the players. Jack Grealish there pushed him out of the way. And he's having a chat there with Edison. Of course, the former Man City playing Gabriel Jesus as well. Obviously injured at the moment, injured maybe for a while, they're saying. Gabriel Jesus, whether that's going to tempt us to buy this striker or not, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not convinced that we will, if I'm honest. Anyway, Arsenal are now coming out for the second half. Aaron Ramsdale there leading the team out for this second half, seeing if we can find a goal. And we did come close a couple of times there, didn't we, in that first half? Kai Havertz with the two big chances. Couldn't quite convert them though, could he? And yeah, wasn't quite meant to be. Anyway, it's going to be Manchester City to kick off this second half. They will be attacking at the goal to our left, which is the end where their fans are. So Arsenal subsequently are also attacking the end where their fans are as well. So let's see whether or not this second half is going to... Is it going to be a change of pattern? Is it going to be more Arsenal possession? Because it certainly was towards the end of that first half, wasn't it? And can we take our chances? So there's been no substitutions at half-time. There's been no changes for either side. So it's the same lineups as we started with. Let's see what happens. So it's going to be Man City to kick off. Kovacic it is. Plays all the way back to goalkeeper Ortega. And he goes long up that far side, but it's too long for Haaland. It's gone out for a throw to Arsenal, which Timber is going to take. Just wiping the ball down before he takes his throw. The Dutch defender throws it up the line, but it's Kyle Walker wins a header. And it's gone back for another throw to Arsenal, a little bit further up the pitch, which Timber's going to take again. Had a decent first half, didn't he? Jurriën Timber, he played well, I thought. Anyway, Man City have managed to win the possession back again, and it's gone back to goalkeeper Ortega made those 2 saves in the first half to keep the score at 0-0, and he just kicked the ball straight out of play, which Pep, was it Pep who caught that actually? Anyway, Arsenal back in possession over that throw. It's now with William Saliba midway inside the Arsenal half, plays it forward to Declan Rice, gets it back again. William Saliba. Now he plays it to Thomas Partey, striding forward up this near side for Arsenal, pings it into Bukayo Saka, lays it off to Declan Rice. Just slowing the pace down, Declan Rice plays it out to that far side to Gabriel. The left of those 3 centre-backs finds Timber over on that far side. Gabriel again goes back to Aaron Ramsdale. We've played a minute and a half of the second half. It is still Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. Long ball there from Ramsdale. And Akanji's there to head it back to Ortega. And again, a bit like the first half, started a bit slowly, didn't it? This half started a bit slowly as well. Manchester City now just looking to play it out from the back. It's with Ruben Diaz, plays it back again to Ortega, the Manchester City goalkeeper. All in green. Closed down by Kai Havertz, sort of, and then Man City can just play it out to that far side. Trying to bring the ball forward there. Kyle Walker plays it back to Rodri on halfway. The Spaniards, that's an important player, isn't he, for Manchester City. Finds Kovacic inside the centre circle. Brings it forward again. Rodri finds Akanji on this near side. He's got Grealish further forward. This is Jack Grealish. Faced up with Ben White and Bukayo Saka, his 2 England teammates. Plays it back instead to Akanji. Plays it square to Rodri. Back again to Akanji. This is how the first half started, didn't it? With a lot of Manchester City comfortable possession. And that's how the second half started as well. Arsenal grew into the first half, so maybe we'll have to do the same again. What we need to make sure we do is keep it tight at the back. We don't want to go behind to this Manchester City team. It's very difficult, isn't it, to come back from a losing position against this team just because they just keep the ball so well. Anyway, Alvarez now plays it to Akanji on this near side. Back to Kovacic, into Rodri. They're so comfortable with the ball, aren't they, Man City? It's almost embarrassing how easy it is sometimes for them just to pass the ball around. No team's ever won the English League 4 seasons in a row. If anyone can do it, it'll be this Man City team, you have to say. And I don't really see too many other teams look strong enough to stop them, but we'll see. I do think winning a treble last season would have taken a lot out of these players. Pep's always has even mentioned it, hasn't he? Can they get themselves up again for this new season? I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll see. Carl Walker now though for City over on that far side. Martinelli's come across to defend. So Carl Walker goes back again to John Stones. Finds Rodri. This is better for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva now gets it to Jack Grealish on this near side. Goes past Ben White, puts a cross in. Header by William Saliba. And it's going to bounce around in a penalty. It's headed back in again. Thomas Partey heads it clear. Bukayo Saka now trying to bring the ball out for Arsenal. Does well. Finds Martin Odegaard. Lovely little step over from him there. Gets away from one challenge and plays the ball forward to Kai Havertz. He's got no one around him, Kai Havertz. And he was crowded out by Manchester City defenders. And the ball's now gone back to the goalkeeper. In fact, there's a free kick there, is there, for Manchester City. Player's gone down in. You're not quite sure what it is. May have been Kai Havertz there. He got the ball. There was nobody around him there, Kai Havertz. He was all on his own. And in the end, looks like he may have committed a foul, did he? In fact, it wasn't. It was a player that tackled him who's gone down injured. That's who it was. Is it Alvarez? Anyway, they're back on their feet again now. And it's going to be a drop ball to Manchester City. Havertz said needed a little bit of support, didn't he? He had 4 Man City players around him when he got the ball. What was he meant to do? Not much he could have done, really. He did as best as he could. He got tackled, and that was that. The ball's now back in play. We played 5 minutes of the second half. It is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. John Stones now bringing it forward for City over on that far side. They're right. He's run into a bit of trouble there, though, in the shape of Declan Rice, but his ball in field just went slightly behind Martinelli, and City have picked up possession again, and now they're coming forward with Alvarez just lays that ball off. It's Carl Walker over on that far side, pulls the ball back across. Oh, just got a foot in there, did Timber. He's got the ball behind for a corner. Man City threatening there. It was good play actually down that far side. Manchester City's right. Carl Walker's cross, and it was Timber there. Just did enough. Just got his leg out and managed to deflect the ball behind. But it's a corner to Manchester City. We've played 51 minutes here at Wembley in the Community Shield. Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0, and City now have a corner over on that far side there, right. They've got some height, haven't they? What's this corner like? It swings away from the edge of 6 yards. Header comes in straight at Ramsdale, pushes it out again. Arsenal managed to scramble that clear. Ramsdale there managed to keep that ball out. It was straight at him there, that header. He made a bit of a meal of it, if we're honest. Could he have caught that? Let's have a look at it. I think it was Rodri's header, was it? No, it was John Stone's header. It was straight at him, actually, and he's pushed it away. Could he have caught that? I'm not sure. He maybe could have done. I mean, it was quite a powerful header. It was from, 6 yards? But he pushed it straight back up in the air. Could have caused us a few problems there. I think he could have caught that. I actually think he could have caught that, Aaron Ramsdale. Anyway, that's the first real opportunity of this second half there, that header from John Stones. Now, Martin Odegaard's gone down injured, which is a bit of a worry. The last thing we need is an injury to Martin Odegaard. It looks like it's just some tape there, but the players have gone over to get some words of encouragement from Mikel Arteta. We haven't started this second half particularly great, but then we didn't start the first half particularly great. Oh, did we? Let's be honest. Jota says there, I think Ramsdale was a bit blinded, in my opinion. I mean, it was quite close range, and it has come. I just feel in that situation, you've either got to catch it or push it over the bar, rather than pushing it back into the danger zone, which is what he did. We got away with it, and we managed to scramble the ball clear. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe he was a little bit blinded. It was very close range. I say he was 5 yards away, wasn't he? Stones when he headed it, but I just think the goalie's got to push it over the bar then to be safe, instead of pushing it straight back into the danger zone. But anyway, it doesn't matter too much because there was nothing. There was no goal in the result of it, or even an opportunity for City after that. Anyway, it was a break in play there. First real break in play we've had, actually. And that was due to that little injury there to Martin Odegaard, who's now to come off on this near side. I'm not sure if it's an injury. He seems to be, I don't know, doing something with his socks or his boots or something. Anyway, it's a throw to Manchester City, which they've taken. Kovacic plays the word to Rodri. Kovacic gets it back again. I think Kovacic will be a good player for Manchester City because their sort of style of play is going to suit him, isn't it? I think. Anyway, Odegaard's fine. And he's going to come back on by the look of it. But it's still Man City in possession with Kovacic again. Exchanges passes with Rodri. That's been a feature of this game, hasn't it? Those two linking up quite well. Rodri plays it into Bernardo Silva this time, gets it back. Rodri plays it into Jack Grealish on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Now he's got Akanji, pulls it back, a low cross into the 6 yard box. Just about cleared away there by Arsenal. Not great defending initially. I think it was William Saliba actually, but Arsenal managed to scramble it away. And now it's a throw to City over on that far side, right in front of the Manchester City dugout. Actually, Pep's out there looking casual in his smart jeans and trainers and white shirt. Man City are still in possession. Ruben Diaz flicks the ball up this near side to Akanji. Now Jack Grealish again, he's going to have a little run at Ben White, but Ben White just takes the ball off him. Those two know each other well, don't they? He's going to be a throw though to Manchester City. Goes back to Akanji again. Just plays it square to Ruben Diaz. Inside that centre circle, pings it off to Haaland. But Arsenal win the ball back, and they've got a chance for a counter-attack with Martin Odegaard. Was he fouled there? He was by Rodri. And Arsenal got a free kick, which we've taken quickly over on that far side. Declan Rice plays it up the line to Gabriel Martinelli. Carries on. Declan Rice got the ball now in a very advanced position. Plays it back again to Martinelli. Now it's with Timber. Now it's back with Declan Rice again. He's had a tidy game, Declan Rice, hasn't he? He's just kept the ball moving, got possession, kept possession well. without anything too spectacular. But I think that's what we're going to expect from Declan Rice this season at Arsenal. I think that's what we're going to get from him, aren't we? I think we're going to get just neat and tidy possession play from him. And I think as the season goes on, he maybe give a little bit more freedom. Wayne says Lee Dixon's commentary is hilarious. He's just crapping all over these new referee rules. I can't listen to it, but I might see if I can get some highlights later. You know, Arsenal are coming forward now. This is our best spell of possession in the second half, actually. We played 11 minutes since half time. Declan Rice in possession now. And a little bit more of the ball in the early stages of this second half, hasn't he, Rice? Which is good to see. Now William Saliba twists and turns away and then plays the ball back to Gabriel on halfway. Now it's square in to Declan Rice again, Gabriel. Arsenal now doing the Manchester City possession football without really making any inroads forward. Maybe we will now, though, with Saka on this near side. He's got a Kenji for company, but plays it back instead to Ben White. Now with Saliba and Gabriel. We're going backwards. Man City are pressing us higher now. Declan Rice finds that ball up the line to Timber over on that far side. It's up to Martinelli, but he's overhit that pass. And it's gone out for a throw to Manchester City. We've played 57 minutes and Phil Foden is about to come on for City. And it's going to be Jack Grealish to go off. Not much impact today, Jack Grealish, has he? But Jack Grealish is going off and Phil Foden is going on. That's like an England substitution, isn't it, that we've seen for the England team a couple of times. And it's happened today for Manchester City. So Phil Foden's on and Jack Grealish is off. No impact really from Grealish today, as he still recovered from his celebrations at the end of last season. I'm not sure. He certainly didn't look the same player today, did he? He didn't have any impact at all, in fact. You know, Ortega's gone along with his kick for Manchester City, but Ben White's underneath it, heads it forward, but to nobody in particular. And Ruben Diaz is there to tidy up. Oh, slightly loose touch there from Ruben Diaz. Saka steps in and then Ruben Diaz fouls him. And Arteta again isn't very happy. And Saka's gone down. But knowing Saka, he'll be fine in a minute. In fact, the referee's going to have a word with Ruben Diaz by the look of it. He just overran the ball there, didn't he, Ruben Diaz? And then he stretched a little bit. I mean, to be fair, he's got the ball, and then it's on the follow-through. He's kind of stood on Saka's foot, hasn't he? He kicked the ball against Saka. It is a foul. I don't think that's a booking. It's a painful one. And I think it is going to be a free kick to Arsenal. There's two balls on the pitch at the moment, actually, which a little bit confusing there, but Martin Odegaard's just kicked the second one off. And it's going to be a free kick on this near side at Arsenal's right. Martinelli is standing over it, so it looks like Martinelli's going to take this. And he's going to probably kick it in towards that penalty spot. It'll be a good place to put this ball. The free kick's about 15 yards in from this near touchline, Arsenal's right. Arsenal got 4 players currently standing in offside position ahead of the Manchester City defence. So we'll see where this ball goes from Martinelli. He went to take it and stop. Now he's going to have to go again. Gabriel Martinelli with his free kick whips it in towards that far post. It's a decent ball, but it beats everybody. And it's going to go behind for a throw to Manchester City over on that far side. The decent looking ball, wasn't it? It just couldn't quite pick anybody out. It's gone past everybody and it's gone out behind for a throw to City over on that far side, which Kyle Walker takes, goes long, but Timber's there with a header. Arsenal starting to grow into this second half as we did in the first half. It's just taken us not quite as long in the second half to start getting hold of the ball and getting possession. The ball is now back with William Saliba, pings it forward to Martin Odegaard, plays it on, looking for Kai Havertz there, but City do win the ball back. And now it's gone all the way back to goalkeeper Ortega. We're still waiting for this game to really take off, aren't we? It's been very slow and fairly dull for the most part. Arsenal had 1 or 2 moments in that first half, created 1 or 2 opportunities, but it's been quite a low-key game, if we're honest. I think both of these two teams maybe look on it as mainly a friendly, and you don't really be wanting to play your big rivals for the season in a friendly there before the season starts. But that's basically what this has become. Anyway, let's see. There is, of course, going to be a trophy at the end of it for one of these teams, because if there's no winner in 90 minutes, it will go to penalties, won't it? Phil Foden now in possession for City for the first time. Plays the ball back to Akanji. Now it's into Kovacic. Turns away well. Kovacic tried to look for Haaland. The ball was cleared by Saliba. Alvarez tried to get on the end of it, but couldn't quite make it. And Arsenal playing it around at the back. Looks a little bit dangerous there. We got away with it, and now the ball's gone long up that far side to Gabriel Martinelli. Try and have a run at that City defence. He plays the ball square instead to Thomas Partey. That's with Martin Odegaard. Can Arsenal find this break? That's a good ball to Ben White on this near side. Ben White tries to get across in. Akanji's across well to block that. In fact, I think it might end up being a goal kick to Manchester City. Good defending it was there. Martin Odegaard's trying to get something from the crowd, get the crowd going a little bit, to try and lift Arsenal a little bit from this. I say to turn this game away from being a friendly, which is what it feels like, doesn't it? It feels very much like a friendly, the way it's been played. These two teams, of course, know each other very well. The two managers, of course, great friends, as we know. But we just want to see a little bit more intensity to get us really prepared for the big Premier League kick-off next week, because I'm sure Nottingham Forest won't be taking that game lightly, will they, at the Emirates next weekend? They'll be wanting to start the season well. It's a big season for Nottingham Forest as well, isn't it? They survived last year. It's going to be even harder though this year, isn't it, for a lot of those teams at the bottom end of the league. The relegation battle is going to be keenly fought this season, I'm sure. Anyway, Phil Foden, we don't need to worry too much about that, do we? We're going to be more focused on our job. Anyway, Saka just won the ball back now. A little bit of space for Arsenal. Declan Rice. That's a good ball forward to Gabriel Martinelli on that far side inside the penalty area. Just a little bit too wide. They plays it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Saka lays it off. Shot comes in over the top of the crossbar there from Declan Rice. Looking for a debut goal for him as well. If you remember, his first ever goal for West Ham was against Arsenal. And now I wonder if his first ever goal for Arsenal will come in the Community Shield at Wembley. I'm sure he'd love that, wouldn't he? You know, Man City are making a second substitution. In fact, Haaland is going off. Again, he didn't have much impact today, did he? You wonder how fit and ready some of these players are. De Bruyne is coming on, though, for Manchester City. We've played 63 minutes. And there's going to be a young player coming on here for Manchester City. One of their academy players. Kovacic is going off as well. He gives the armband to Kevin De Bruyne, of course, is the captain usually, isn't he? So Kovacic and Haaland have gone off, and De Bruyne and Cole Palmer have come on. So slightly, I think Alvarez is now going to play more through the centre, isn't he? De Bruyne is going to take that Kovacic role in midfield, and then there's a foul there. Is there on Rodri saying no? But it is a free kick to Arsenal in a dangerous area over on that far side. It was Timber trying to get forward. Rodri says he got the ball. They both got there around about the same time, actually. In fact, it is a corner to Arsenal. So Rodri did just get there first. Arsenal got a corner in front of the Arsenal fans here at Wembley. Over on that far side, Gabriel Martinelli, Arsenal's left, is going to in-swing this corner. We've got some height now with Havertz as well. Is this going to be the moment for Arsenal? The corner comes into the near post, headed behind again by Rodri. It's going to be another corner to Arsenal. Is this going to be the moment now for Arsenal? So Rice is in there, White's in there, Havertz is in there, Gabriel's in there, Saliba. We've got some height here, haven't we? See if we can get a decent delivery here. Maybe this can be the breakthrough for Arsenal. 65 minutes on the clock. Is this going to be the moment? Corner into the near post. Oh, it's going into the side netting. That's two corners Gabriel Martinelli's wasted in this game. In fact, Ortega tried to take that goal kick quickly. Kai Havertz was in his way. Or was it Gabriel? And in fact, Ortega's taken out both of them. But he was just trying to take his goal kick, actually, and the Arsenal player shouldn't have been there. Anyway, it is still a goal kick to Manchester City. Is there more substitutions being made? There's a yellow card actually for somebody. Was it Gabriel was given a yellow card by the referee? Looks like it might have been. Maybe for something he says it was Gabriel that was booked. But a few bookings in this game, hasn't there? Since it's only a friendly. Anyway, we're about midway through this second half, 66 minutes on the clock. It is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. And there's been even less chances in the second half than there was in the first. And there wasn't many in the first half. So that kind of shows you what sort of game it's been. It's been very, very poor, if we're honest. That's a long ball forward there. Gabriel wins that header. Manchester City do pick up the second ball. Although good play there again from Declan Rice. He's grown into this game, Declan Rice, hasn't he? He has a lot more impact in this second half. Ramsdale now with the ball at his feet. Chips the ball forward. It's not a great ball. It's going to go straight out for a throw to Manchester City. Declan Rice is starting to stamp his authority in this game and on this team a little bit as well. Very early days, of course, in his Arsenal career. We're all expecting big things, aren't we, from Declan? I'm sure he's going to be a great player. Of course, the most expensive player in our history, most expensive signing. In fact, he's the most expensive British signing anyway, isn't he? Anyway, Kai Havertz now coming forward, another of the new signings. £65 million we spent on him. He's coming forward again over on that far side. The former Chelsea man plays the ball back to Thomas Partey. Now it's with William Saliba. It's a good ball. It was near side. Ben White, what's the cross like? It's not bad. Oh, it came to Saka. Should have done better, Saka there. Got his feet muddled up a little bit and miskicked inside the penalty area there. That was a big moment that for Arsenal. Good cross from Ben White it was from Arsenal's right-hand side. Found Saka inside the penalty and on about the penalty spot. And he went for a first-time finish but got his feet all muddled up and missed his kick completely. And the ball has now, the chance has gone and the ball's now back inside Arsenal's half. But that was the chance, wasn't it? Was that the moment for Arsenal? Big opportunity, really, it was. The way that cross came in, it was a brilliant cross, actually, from Ben White. A low cross towards the penalty spot. And Saka couldn't quite sort his feet out, could he? Anyway, Arsenal now in possession up this near side. That's a long ball into the centre circle, but it's John Stones wins a header. And now Rodri dinks the ball over the top. Good header that was, though, from William Saliba, but Arsenal don't really clear it away. Phil Foden finds Kevin De Bruyne and plays it infield to Bernardo Silva. Now it's with Rodri. Kyle Walker now over onto that far side. Cole Palmer, the substitute. Can he get a cross in? No, he can't. He goes back instead to Kyle Walker. Now it's with John Stones. Rodri, now it's John Stones again. Plays it square to Ruben Diaz. Bernardo Silva is a little bit more central now. Bernardo Silva closed down by Martin Odegaard, but manages to find the ball to John Stones. City now having their spell of possession. Arsenal had a big spell of possession, didn't we, earlier in this half, and now it's Manchester City's turn. John Stones is coming forward, but loses his way a little bit. Has to play the ball back. Kai Havertz again pressing quite high, almost wins the ball, but now there's a little bit of space for Kevin De Bruyne. We know what he can do if you give him too much space. Plays the ball into the edge of the box. This is nice play from City. Cole Palmer's free at the far side. Shots deflected over. It's a corner to Manchester City. Cole Palmer there was the player over. I think it was Timber with that deflection there. Suddenly, though, they had a player over there. Well, it was Cole Palmer, and the shot there hits Timber and flies over the crossbar. And it is going to be a corner to Manchester City, which Kevin De Bruyne is going to take. First real impact De Bruyne has had in this game was during that move there. The corner's taken short actually to Bernardo Silva. Didn't get the ball in the box, Man City. Kyle Walker now with it. He is going to get the ball into the box now towards that far post, headed back across into the penalty area. It's headed behind at full stretch there by Timber again. It's another corner to Manchester City. They're starting to ramp up the pressure a little bit now in these last 20 minutes that we're into. Can Arsenal hold Manchester City at bay? You do feel whoever scores first in this game is probably going to win, especially at this point. Anyway, Kevin De Bruyne is going to take this corner as well. Is he going to go short again? He's got Phil Foden short. He does play it short to Phil Foden. Now Phil Foden's going to get a cross in. Not a particularly good cross. Arsenal can clear that away. Declan Rice now completes the clearance up towards halfway, but Arsenal got no player up there. And it goes back to goalkeeper Ortega for Manchester City. He finds John Stones. And now it's back with Ruben Diaz. Man City now having a good spell. Probably their best spell of the second half, actually. And they've had a couple of chances there, well, a couple of efforts at goal. Cole Palmer's shot is probably the nearest that Man City have come to a goal, actually, in this whole game. But they've just given the ball away. And now Gabriel Martinelli plays it forward, looking for Kai Havertz. But John Stones is across to tidy that up. Wasn't a great ball, actually, from Martinelli. Kai Havertz doesn't have as much pace, does he, as other sort of forwards in the Premier League. So I think the ball's got to be better into his feet, hasn't it? Give him a chance. But anyway, Man City are now back in possession. Ball up that far side. Cole Palmer it is again. It was his effort just a few moments ago. Almost gave City the lead. Good defending it was from Timber, who's done really well today, actually. He's had a good game, hasn't he, Timber? What have we made of Timber's performance? I think he's been decent, actually. Been pretty pleased with how he's played. In fact, I think that the three new signings have all played pretty well in this game, you have to say. It's just a shame Havertz couldn't have taken one of those chances, because it would be totally different. With anyway, Akanji in possession now for City. We're just now getting back that possession that they had earlier on in this game. But again, they're not creating too many problems for us, are they? They're really not. This ball out this near side to Akanji again, plays it in field to Phil Foden, the substitute. That's a dink ball again over on that far side. Is going to find Kyle Walker. That's a good touch from Kyle Walker. Drills it across. Again, it's come off Timber. Again, it's going to be a corner. He's conceded a few corners in the last few minutes, hasn't he? As Timber, but he's certainly had a very good game, hasn't he? Jurriën Timber. Let's see if we can defend this corner, though. The other two previous corners of Man City have played short. Are they going to put this one into the box? They are. I think De Bruyne is again, whips it into the 6-yard box. Rodri attacked it, but Arsenal managed to scramble it clear. Trying to do a little bit too much there, Saka on the edge of the box, but Arsenal do manage to get that ball clear. Saka now got a little bit of space up this near side. Arsenal's right. But again, we've lost possession, and it's Alvarez now for Manchester City. Finds Phil Foden. No, sorry, finds Cole Palmer, who's popped up on this near side now for City. But Arsenal managed to survive that. And the ball's gone back again to Gabriel. Strides out of defence, Gabriel. Terry's joined us. How do you do, Terry? Says, afternoon, Richard, all in the chat. Radio making it sound like the game has no spark. But did you say Rice and Timberlake? Well, yeah, I think all three new sides have done well, actually. Havertz as well. No, I mean, the game, it's just like a friendly, isn't it? It's basically played at, I would say, 60% of the intensity and kind of, real Premier League kind of levels. It's not at that level. It is more like a friendly. That's what it's been. Gabriel Martinelli is now going off for Arsenal, and Trossard is coming on. Martinelli didn't have his best, most influential game, did he, today? But Trossard is coming on, and we know how good Trossard can be. The impact that Trossard has made since he joined in January, and he's now on for these last 16 minutes or so. And we may well be making another substitution in a minute as well. I'm not sure. Let's have a look and see. Steve says hi to Terry. In fact, Timber's going off. Good play, good performance from Timber today. He's played well as Jurriën Timber. I'm assuming Kieran Tierney's going to come on to play left back. In fact, he is. But Jurriën Timber there, good debut from him. And Kieran Tierney is now going to get the last 15 minutes at Wembley. I think that's going to be his role this season, isn't it, as substitute? With Zinchenko currently injured as well, so he's still not getting picked, is he? And Kyrgios in there as well, isn't he, as an option? That long kick there from Ramsdale's going to find its way back to Ortega. And are we going to see some late drama in this game, or will we get the drama of penalties? Of course, the last time we won the Community Shield back in 2020, we beat Liverpool on penalties, didn't we? If you remember, that game finished in a 1-1 draw, didn't it? Aubameyang scored, of course, for Arsenal. I can't remember who scored Liverpool's goal that day. It probably was Jota, wasn't it? As he seemed to score most of their goals against us. Anyway, City now in possession inside their own half. Nice turn there from Phil Foden. He does that well, doesn't he? He's got a low centre of gravity. Tries to get the ball out to that far side. Kieran Tierney just gets a touch on it, but it has come all the way across to Kevin De Bruyne. And he scores. Kevin De Bruyne. In fact, no, it was Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is that scored, not Kevin De Bruyne. Got quite similar hair. And it is the substitute for Manchester City, Cole Palmer, that has scored there. It's a good finish, actually. Curled into the top corner. And that might well be their first shot on target, actually, in this game. It was a very good finish, you have to say. It was a counter-attack. It was started by Phil Foden. A lovely turn from him. And in the end, the ball did find Cole Palmer over on that far side, Manchester City's right. And it was a very good finish, you have to say. I say almost thought it was Kevin De Bruyne for a minute because they do have quite similar hair. But Kieran Tierney was unlucky. His clearance fell to Kevin De Bruyne. He headed it down to Cole Palmer. It is a very tidy finish, actually, into that far corner. Good moment for him scoring at Wembley. Obviously, it's not such a big game, but anyway, I'm sure it'll be a moment he'll always remember the young man, the young Manchester City Academy player. Come on, and he scored the goal that may well win Manchester City the Community Shield. Pep looks very happy about that, doesn't he? Another one of the young players from Manchester City making a big impact. Terry says, was doing Christie until they just scored. Kiss of death. Well, yeah, you came in and they scored. That's not good news, is it, Terry? I don't know what's going on. You should go back to work, maybe. But no, it's just unfortunate, isn't it? Unfortunate timing there. We'll let you off. But yes, it was a well-taken goal, actually, you have to say. Now let's see what Arsenal have got. There's not much time left, 12 minutes of normal time. There'll be a bit of stoppage time, won't there? They managed to find 3 minutes in the first half from somewhere, so I'm sure they'll find at least 5 or 6, 7 in the second half, won't they? Because obviously Odegaard was down for a little while. There's been some substitutions and what have you. So, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen in this game. But anyway, we'll see. Arsenal got to find something in the time that remains, or it'll be Manchester City winning the Community Shield. It'll be another game against Pep's Man City that Arsenal lose. Kevin De Bruyne now bringing the ball forward, finds Phil Foden. You have to say their substitutes have made a difference, haven't they? And so far as, well, we've only just made as, to be fair. They haven't had a chance to really get into it yet, have they? Kieran Tierney and Leandro Trossard. But it has been the three substitutes there for City, wasn't it? It was Foden's turn, De Bruyne's header forward, and then Cole Palmer's finish. So that's the impact you want your substitutes to have, don't you, in a game, let's be honest. And that's been the difference so far. Can Arsenal substitutes do something similar? We've got Trossard on that left-hand side. And Kieran Tierney as well, of course, just behind him. But City now in possession again with Cole Palmer's done really well, actually. Gone past Trossard twice. Tried to go past Kieran Tierney, but can't manage to do so. And Kieran Tierney's clearance is picked up by Kai Havertz, who's dropped really deep to get that ball. He does well, Kai Havertz. I think Kai Havertz has played well. I know there'll be other people that will disagree, probably because he missed those chances in the first half, but I think he's played well, Havertz. He's held the ball up well when he's had to. He's tried to link the play. But yeah, he does need to take one of them chances. Of course he does. Of course he does. But I think he's played well. Steve says there, things happen. We haven't taken our chances yet. But Steve says there, we are poor with our corners like last season. Yeah, we have been. Yeah, we haven't had too many of them today. But yeah, we haven't made the most of them at all, have we? Anyway, Declan Rice is now going off. A decent day from him as well, you have to say. Well played, Declan Rice. Eddie and Nketiah is coming on though, so a slight change of shape. Maybe you'd imagine that Havertz is going to drop a little bit deeper and into that sort of midfield role where Declan Rice was, the Xhaka role, if you like, that we call it. And I think Havertz is going to drop into there with Eddie going through as a centre forward. And Manchester City, though, coming forward again with Akanji. They do lead 1-0. Terry says, I still think we need another 2 or 3 signings, one defo centre forward. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I said this before the game. I was saying I think we need at least 2. I think we need a midfield player and I think we need a centre forward, yeah. But I don't think we're going to buy a centre forward, certainly not. But let's see what happens. There's still time left of this window, of course. We're getting ourselves in a bit of trouble on the end of the box. Thomas Partey just about got away with it. In fact, he was fouled in the end. Steve says there, where's Trossard? What I've seen in other games is on fire. Yeah, he's just come on, Trossard. He came on about 5 minutes ago. He's not really touched the ball yet. But yeah, I'm sure Trossard will have a big season for us. You know, obviously only joined in January. It's difficult sometimes for a January signing to have a massive impact. But he did well, didn't he? He got a lot of assists last season. You know, almost the ball came through to Kai Havertz there, but in the end, Man City do manage to get the ball back to goalkeeper Ortega. Or a little loose touch there from Ben White. Lets in Alvarez. He's going a long way around. Cuts back inside. Plays it infield. Is this going to be a second goal? Phil Foden. It isn't. It's a good save, is it? Good save that was there from Ramsdale. I think that could have kept us in this game. It was good play actually from Alvarez. A mistake initially by Ben White. Alvarez did really well. He was onside as well, Phil Foden, and Ramsdale just got a leg to that. Looked as though that was going to be the sealer there. It's hit inside his heel actually. That could easily have gone in, but it was saved well. It's gone behind her. It is a corner. Terry says, save Rams. Indeed it was. And Jota says, what a save. It was a good save. Just off the inside of his heel, De Bruyne with this corner. And near post, Rams had to make another save from that. Was it straight from the corner or did Rodri maybe touch that? Jota says, when I say that, he got a bit lucky, to be honest. He did get very lucky. It sort of hit his heel, didn't it, inside his heel. Could have easily gone for his legs. But as a goalkeeper, sometimes you need a little bit of luck, don't you? And he certainly got a little bit there, but that's fine. And Jota says, okay, he just made up for it. Yeah, that was another good save, wasn't it, a near post. But that's the thing with Ramsdale, isn't it? He's capable of making those good saves, and that's not the issue that I've got with him. My issue is a concentration issue that has cost us goals in too many times last season, and it started to creep into his game. So, and I think maybe having some competition may well be what he needs, perhaps, if we do sign David Raya. But anyway, we haven't signed David Raya yet, have we? So let's worry about the players that we've got at this moment in time, which are the ones that's on this pitch at the minute. Trying to look for this equaliser. Saka cuts in, Phil's done well actually. He was fouled, but the referee says play on because Havertz has got the ball. Plays out to Kieran Tierney. Now to Trossard. Tried to find Tierney again. It was blocked by Kyle Walker, but Trossard still in possession. Does well. Finds Thomas Partey. Thought about a shot from 45 yards, but fought against it. Maybe he should have done because he's just given the ball away to Kevin De Bruyne. But he's won it back, Thomas Partey. And now he's played it back to goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. We've got 6 minutes to play here at Wembley, or 6 minutes of normal time. There'll be some stoppage time, won't there? Because there's been some hold-ups in this game. But it's been an okay performance from Arsenal. But we had chances in that first half. We haven't taken them. And Manchester City have taken theirs. And that is the difference so far in this game. It is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 1. Cole Palmer with the goal. And the ball's now back with Ortega. Eddie Nketiah tries to close him down. Rushes his clearance a little bit. The Manchester City goalkeeper. But again, City have picked up the loose ball. And it's Phil Foden. Had a big chance to make it 2-0 a few moments ago. Kevin De Bruyne now wins the throw off Martin Ødegaard. Not sure the fitness levels of Kevin De Bruyne. It probably suggests why he didn't start this game. But he almost scored straight from a corner. In fact, that was a header there from Rodri. That's a really good save, actually, from Ramsdale. Rodri's diving header. Got his right hand down. Made a good save there. That could have been 2-0. So Ramsdale made a couple of good saves, actually, to keep it at 1-0 in this game. But it is still Manchester City winning. We need to find a goal from somewhere. With 5 minutes to go, you do feel as though if we do score, it's probably going to end up being a penalty shootout in the end. And Kieran Tierney there Cole Palmer, I thought he'd been fouled actually by Tierney, but the referee says no, he's gone out for a throw to Arsenal, played up the line looking for Eddie Nketiah. But John Stones is there, heads it out, it's going to be a throw to Arsenal instead. Over on that far side, Arsenal's left. There's still time for Arsenal, 5 minutes or so plus stoppage time to get this equaliser. Steve says there, we can't beat or draw with City even in marbles. No, we don't seem to be able to. We don't seem to be able to, but that's life, isn't it? To be fair, I mean, you know, City do beat most teams, don't they? But I say I'm sure pretty much everybody else in the Premier League has beaten Pep's Manchester City. The only two times that we have was in those FA Cup semi-finals. We've never beaten them in any other game. And I'm sure pretty much everybody else has. You look at the league, you look at teams that's beaten them. But anyway, it looks as though we're going to be losing again. But you never know. There's still time. Some late drama here. A late goal and then penalty shootout. Who knows? But anyway, Man City are in possession now over on that far side. With Kevin De Bruyne, but gone out for a throw to City. And Arsenal are going to be making two more substitutions. Emil Smith-Rowe is going to be one of those players coming on, I think, by the look of it. And Fabio Vieira as well. So Emil Smith-Rowe's on. Good to see him playing. Havertz has gone off. Decent shift from Havertz today. I thought he played well. Vieira's on as well. Not quite sure who's gone off for Fabio Vieira, actually. But anyway, I'm sure it'll soon become clear. Gabriel, I think it is. So are we going free at the back? Or is Ben White coming into centre-back? I think we're going free at the back, actually. Anyway, we've only got 3 minutes to play. Trossard there, twisted and turning, trying to get the ball away, and then Kieran Tierney completes the clearance. But it's Ruben Diaz there. Kieran Tierney again trying to defend over on that far side. But it's Manchester City come away with the ball with Alvarez. Trossard there trying to take the ball off him. Cole Palmer there is trying to win a corner off Trossard, who was on the floor. He was trying to kick the ball off him there. Cole Palmer. And he's going to get spoken to by the referee. It's his goal, of course, that is separating the teams at the moment. Jota says, it's just come up on the screen, never mind. Yeah, he says Gabriel and ESR for Vieira and Havertz. Yeah, I didn't see Gabriel go off, actually. I just seen him sitting on the bench. So Arsenal just changing their shape at the end of this game, maybe to try something a little bit different, which I've got no problem with. One of my biggest issues with Arteta has been the fact that he doesn't change things enough. He hasn't changed it early enough. If you're going to try and change a game, you maybe try and do it with 15 minutes to go or something rather than the last 2 or 3 minutes. But at least he's, a poor clearance again from Ramsdale. This is what I mean. This is what he does. We got away with that one because Thomas Partey managed to win the ball back off Kevin De Bruyne. But again, you see Ramsdale's concentration again, and that is going to cost us through the season as it did last season. But yeah, I'd like to see him make those changes a little bit earlier. And Rodri's surely going to get booked now. He's committed a few fouls. He's just committed another one there on Thomas Partey. In fact, he doesn't get booked. It don't really matters now too much because we're into the final minute of the 90. Not sure how many minutes of stoppage time we're going to get. I would imagine 6 or 7, maybe more than that even, because there's been a lot more stoppages in the second half, and in the first half they played 3 minutes, and there didn't seem to be any stoppages at all. So anyway, let's see what happens. Thomas Partey now. Can Arsenal find a dramatic late goal here and send this Community Shield into a penalty shootout, or are Arsenal going to suffer another defeat in pre-season? That's certainly looking the way at the moment, isn't it? Defeat to both Manchester clubs, actually. In pre-season it'll be, won't it, if we do lose this game? The two teams that we were sandwiched in between at the end of the season last year, wasn't we? The teams that finished first and third. Looks like there's going to be another substitution here for Manchester City. There's going to be 8 minutes of stoppage time. Yeah, that makes sense, really. Doesn't it, when you look at the first half and how many more stoppages there's been in the second half. So 8 minutes looks like we're going to get a lot more stoppage time in games this season. Probably to do with the ball in play and all that kind of stuff they mentioned before, haven't they? Steve says there, same old Arteta with poor subs. I wouldn't say poor subs. I would say more he's done it too late. I quite like to see the fact that he's changed the formation of the team. Unbelievably, they've given Cole Palmer player of the match. I'm not saying unbelievable because he hasn't played well. He's had the biggest impact because he scored the only goal. But you think he's only played for 25 minutes. That just maybe goes to show how poor this game's been maybe overall. But anyway, good luck to the young lad. And he's may well have got himself a Wembley winner, which is something we've all dreamt about as young kids, wasn't it, scoring a winning goal at Wembley. And he may well have done so for Manchester City. But it's still time for Arsenal here. Eddie Nketiah coming forward for Arsenal. Now finds Martin Odegaard. Plays it out to that far side. Kieran Tierney finds Leandro Trossard. Smith Rowe now, not had many touches, but he's on the ball now. Hero from the England World Cup team, or Euros, wasn't it? That won the, was it under 21s Euros, wasn't it, in the summer? Great to see him play such a big role in that. Anyway, Arsenal now looking for a goal here. We've played a minute and a half of stoppage time. There's going to be 8 minutes to be said. Still time for Arsenal. Come on, let's see if we can get an equaliser here. Let's take it to penalties. Martin Odegaard now coming forward, plays it towards Eddie Nketiah, lays it off to Fabio Vieira, and then switches the ball across to Thomas Partey. He's going to have a shot. He's run towards the edge of the penalty area and then finds Kieran Tierney. That's a good cross. He's going to find Vieira on this far side. Good chest control from Vieira. Dinks it to the far post. A bit of space for Thomas Partey, but he can't win the header. And City can clear this ball away. In fact, there's a head injury there to both players, Partey and Kyle Walker it is. They've both gone down. That was the cross there. Oh, it was a bit of a clash of heads there between the two. Kyle Walker did win the initial header. And both players have gone down with head injuries. We're going to get a little bit more stoppage time now. We've played 2.5 minutes of the 8, but there's going to be a couple more now, isn't there? So there's still going to be, there's still 6 minutes or 7 minutes or so for Arsenal to find a goal, which would take it to penalties. They're just showing that winning goal again. I mean, it was a fantastic goal. There's no doubt about that. Curled into that top corner. I mean, the only bit of real quality we've seen inside the final third today, and it's going to decide this game. Looks like it's going to decide this game. I say there is still time for Arsenal, so let's not give up all hope completely. But it's not looking particularly likely at this moment, is it, that we're going to find a goal? I don't think we've had a shot on target in this second half, have we? We're just showing a few of the celebrations of Manchester City. It is a bit of a worry, isn't it, if what Pep said is true, that they're not really prepared yet. They're behind in where they should have been in preparation, and they've still been too good for us today. That's not a great sign, is it? Anyway. There's still these injuries, actually, these head injuries here. That the trainers are still on the pitch. Partey and Kyle Walker, it is the two players that are injured. These head injuries, I don't know if they're both going to have to go off. Pep's chatting to the fourth official and the linesman on this far side. Not quite sure what he's discussing. He doesn't look very happy, does he, Pep? Looks like he's put a little bit of weight, doesn't he, actually, over the summer, Pep? Anyway, I'm sure he'll be happy enough with this victory should they get it. But no, we haven't. We've only had 2 shots on target in this game, and they were both those 2 in the first half from Kai Havertz. Both players are getting Terry Butcher-style bandages wrapped around their head. Looks a little bit like John McEnroe tennis. Do you remember him from the day wearing them headbands? But they're both having to wear these headbands now for these final few minutes of this game. Man City have actually had 4 shots on target, 3 of which have come in the second half, haven't they? Including a goal, of course, as we know. But anyway, yeah. Jeff Hurst there in the crowd. Sir Jeff Hurst, of course, the hat-trick hero from the 66 World Cup final. And maybe England women may add a World Cup for England in the next few weeks. They've certainly got a good chance now, haven't they? But let's see how they go tomorrow, first of all, of course, against Nigeria. going to be a tense game, isn't it? The knockouts of any World Cup are very tense, aren't they? Anyway, Kyle Walker looks as though he's okay now, and Thomas Partey as well, just getting his bandage stuck together properly, and they're both going to come back on for what will be, I say, at least another 6 minutes. You'd imagine. It says we've played nearly 6 minutes of stoppage time of the 8, but it was about 92 minutes, wasn't it, when that happened? So you imagine it's going to be another 6 minutes or so still to play. And Ortega's now got the ball in his hands for Manchester City, and he will be going to be launching this long, you would imagine, to try and get the ball into that Arsenal half of the pitch, which is what he's done. It's a very long kick, actually. It's going to come all the way through to Aaron Ramsdale, who came out there to grab that ball away from Alcaraz, who was chasing after it there. Steve says there, Japan women looking good. Yeah, they are. They're looking good, yeah. But England wouldn't play them until the final anyway, should we both get there. But I actually think they're the sort of team that will be well suited for us to beat, if I'm honest. Because they're quite a technical team, aren't they? And I think our physicality would maybe be too much for them. But anyway, let's worry about that if it happens. Eddie Nketiah now kind of forward for Arsenal, and he dallied too long, and Akanji took the ball off him. And Manchester City back in position. Now Thomas Partey, can easily see him now with his bandage wrapped around his head. Fabio Vieira now on his near side for Arsenal. Fabio Vieira, is he going to create something? Martin Odegaard thought about a shot from distance. Maybe should have done, because that ball wasn't great. Kyle Walker clears it away. We've played almost the 8 minutes given, but there's going to be at least another 5, you imagine, for those head injuries there that we just saw. So let's wait and see. But Arsenal still in possession and still with a chance. Thomas Partey now plays the ball forward. Emil Smith-Rowe lays it off to Kieran Tierney up the line. Trossard finds Smith-Rowe again. It's gone off there, off Rodri. It's going to be a throw to Arsenal deep into stoppage time. Now the ball's played to Martin Odegaard. Touches it off to William Saliba. To Ben White. It's a long ball forward there, headed out by Kyle Walker. Bernardo Silva can't get there. Thomas Partey does. Now it's Martin Odegaard. Are Arsenal going to get this late goal? Fabio Vieira touches it back to Martin Odegaard. Gone wide to Kieran Tierney on his near side. It's a good ball through to Emil Smith-Rowe. Just a little bit too much on it, and John Stones has come across. Smith-Rowe's taking it off him well there. Now Trossard. Are Arsenal going to find something in the little time that remains? Thomas Partey plays it in to Saka. The ball's a little bit wide there for Vieira. Good cross into the near post, but it's Manchester City player there. I think it was Ruben Diaz, and they've just gone long. And at least Arsenal giving this a go in the last few minutes here. William Saliba almost caught on the ball there by Kevin De Bruyne, who's forcing his team up the pitch to try to relieve that pressure. And he commits a foul actually on William Saliba there. Kevin De Bruyne, a little bit too keen he was there to win the ball. We've played 99 minutes now, and there's still going to be a few more to come, you feel, as well, because of that injury. Terry says there, terrible ball by Saka. Yeah, it wasn't great. Anyway, Arsenal coming forward again. Thomas Partey in to Martin Odegaard. Now it's with Smith-Rowe, finds Fabio Vieira, and that's Ben White. Is this going to be the moment for Arsenal? Ben White, can he get across in? He can't. He took a little bit too long there, and Phil Foden closed him down, and it is going to be a corner to Arsenal. We've played nearly 100 minutes of this game. Are we going to see some real late drama here at Wembley? Can Arsenal get the goal that would take this to penalties? Which would be exciting, wouldn't it? Let's see. We've played nearly 2 minutes of extra over the 8 that were signalled, and I think there's another couple of minutes at least to play, but we shall see. It is a corner now to Bukayo Saka as 100 minutes is showing on the clock. Is this going to be the moment for Arsenal? Saka's corner towards the near post, headed out though by Manchester City, comes back to Saka just on the edge of the area. So it's with Trossard, tries a shot, it's deflected. Oh, it's in! Leandro Trossard's shot's got a deflection off Akanji. in the 101st minute. Arsenal are level. Incredible stuff. Wow, we thought there may have been some late drama. There is some late drama, and it is a goal. And Trossard will certainly be claiming that, won't he? Although it did take a big deflection off Akanji. And it looks like now we are going to get a penalty shootout. It was that corner there. It's headed away initially. Came back to Saka. He just rolled it in to Trossard. He cut inside, hit a shot. Oh, I don't know if that was going in. It's come off Akanji. I think that's going to go down as an own goal. It doesn't matter. We'll take it all day long. Trossard's shot and the deflection there's wrong-footed the keeper. And Terry says, get in there. Yes, Jota says, come on. Steve says, unreal. Terry says, it could only have been Trossard. Well, yeah, although it was a big deflection that has given us the goal. But we don't care. We've got a goal. Arteta's celebrating. And it looks like a penalty shootout we're going to have. So we're going to have some more drama here at Wembley today. It was at the 101st minute, that goal. Wow. Have Arsenal ever scored a later goal in normal time? Obviously, without extra time, obviously, we've scored goals in extra time. But in normal time, have we ever scored a later goal than 111 minutes? That'll be a question for you out there, anyone out there who might know. And Man City have now got a free kick, which Kevin De Bruyne is going to take on this near side. And they're going to get maybe one more chance, are they? Oh, it's a dangerous ball in. Aaron Ramsdale gets there. Had Rodri got a touch on that? I think it was Rodri. It was Ruben Diaz actually stretching. If he'd got a touch on that, that may well have gone in. But anyway, it went straight through to Ramsdale. We have had some late drama. This has been the best part of this game, the last 10 minutes. But anyway, let's see if we can get a winner before penalties. There's still time. You do feel we're in the 103rd minute. This game seems to have lasted forever. Now Saka on this near side. We've got Nathan in the chat. How you doing, mate? You're well as well. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing all right. Manchester City now. In fact, they're not going to get a chance to counter-attack because the full-time whistle's gone. It's finished. Arsenal won. Manchester City won. Late drama here at Wembley. It was a goal from Cole Palmer with, 16 minutes to go. Looked as though it had given Manchester City the victory. But then deep into stoppage time, it was a shot from Leandro Trossard. Took a deflection off Manuel Akanji, and Arsenal have got the equaliser, and we are now going to have a penalty shootout at Wembley. So some real drama, which is going to be good fun, isn't it? So let's see how that goes. So yes, we're going to get ready for that. But yeah, wow, that was exciting, wasn't it? At the end, Leandro Trossard with the goal. Well, I don't know if it's going to be. It looks like it's been given to him at the moment, but I'm not sure if it'll end up being given to him. It's going to depend on whether his shot was on target or whether it was going wide. Not too sure actually, but anyway, it was very good stuff indeed, and we still may win the Community Shield. We were on the verge of losing it, and we still may now win it on penalties. Who knows? Now, who do you think is going to take our penalties? We're obviously going to have 5. Who would we say? Obviously, players that are currently on the pitch. Saka, obviously. Shame Jorginho's not fit because he would have probably scored one. Who else? The guard potentially. Trossard, you'd imagine, will probably take one. Smith Rowe, maybe. Kieran Tierney. Left footers are quite good at penalties usually, aren't they? Steve says shade of Nelson last second. Yeah, a little bit more important. Nelson's goal. It seemed to be at the time. It wasn't in the end, was it? I suppose. Jota says up until that point, I'm not sure Trossard had done much better than Martinelli. But hey, goals change games. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he hadn't really done a lot. No, you're right. He probably hadn't. But anyway, he got the goal that mattered. Terry says, is Pep going for the Roy Keane look down and out? Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah. Potentially he is. He looks like he's putting a little bit of weight, actually, doesn't he, Pep, over the summer? Maybe celebrating that treble a little bit too much. Maybe that's what he's done. I mean, fair play to him, I suppose, but even so, yes. But yeah, so we're going to have some penalties, aren't we? It's going to be exciting anyway, isn't it? Steve says Saka missed last game. He did miss, but, you know, that's different. It's a different set of circumstances now, isn't it? So I'm going to back Saka to score. I if he takes one. I'm sure he will. He was, of course, our penalty taker, wasn't he, for the most part of last season. We've got a couple of good penalty takers now, haven't we? Unfortunately, I say Jorginho's not fit. I'm sure he would have probably taken one. Well, he definitely would have done. I think Rice would have probably taken one. He's gone off as well. So we haven't left ourselves too many penalty options, have we, really, I suppose? Havertz may well have taken one. We know Ramsdale's record at saving penalties isn't great, is it? Anyway, he did save one in the Emirates Cup during the week, which went to penalties as well, didn't it? We did win that one 5-4, didn't we? Let's see what happens in this particular penalty shootout. But we shall see. Maybe Eddie might fancy a penalty, will he? He's a goal scorer. He should do, shouldn't he? All goal scorers should fancy themselves for the penalty spot, shouldn't they? Let's be honest. If you're a striker and you shy away from taking a penalty in a penalty shootout, then you're not much of a striker, are you, as far as I'm concerned? I don't know what Ortega's like at penalties. I've never seen him have to save one. But I'm sure he'll give it a go, as I'm sure Aaron Ramsdale will. It's going to be some late drama here at Wembley. It is a penalty shootout between Arsenal and Manchester City to decide the Community Shield. And it looks as though, are Arsenal going first? I don't know yet. The two goalkeepers are having discussions there with the referee. It's one of their goalkeepers going to be the hero today, aren't they? And win their club a trophy. Will it be Aaron Ramsdale or will it be Stefan Ortega? I think Arsenal are going first. The penalties are at the Arsenal end as well, which I do think is an advantage, actually, when you've got your own fans behind the goal to suck them in, if you like. I think that is an advantage, but we'll see. Steve says there, Pep and Arteta should have one each. Yeah, Arteta was actually good at penalties, wasn't he? When he played, he was our penalty taker, wasn't he, for a while? And he did pretty well. I remember him scoring quite a few penalties, actually. So I wouldn't mind Arteta taking one. I'm sure he could still put one in the net, couldn't he? Anyway, it's going to be Arsenal to go first. I'm not quite sure who's stepping up first. Martin Ødegaard, captain. There you go. Taking captain's responsibility. Well done, Martin. Now, your next job is to stick it in the net, though. But no, fair play to you for stepping up first, taking that captain's role, as indeed you should. And let's see. So it is going to be Martin Ødegaard against Stefan Ortega. Let's see whether or not Martin Ødegaard can give us the early advantage in this shootout. I don't know if I've seen Martin Ødegaard take a penalty before. Anyway, he's going to take one now. Let's have a look and see whether or not he can score. So it's Ødegaard against Ortega. The first penalty in the shootout. Martin Ødegaard, left-footed. And Arsenal lead 1-0. Very, very good. Nice penalty, sent the keeper the wrong way, fired it into that bottom left-hand corner. And now it's Manchester City's turn. Who is going? Steve says, I can't see, makes it worse. Don't worry, we'll keep you up to date. It's Kevin De Bruyne going first for Man City. The two captains going first. There you go. You see, that's leadership for you, isn't it? Stepping up when other people might not want to, going first. Kevin De Bruyne against Aaron Ramsdale. Is Kevin De Bruyne going to equalise, or can Aaron Ramsdale make a name for himself from a penalty shooter? Kevin De Bruyne. Oh, he's hit the bar. De Bruyne hits the bar. He sent Ramsdale the wrong way, but he's hit the bar. Incredible. Kevin De Bruyne, the one player you would imagine would score a penalty shootout, scoring a penalty shootout, has hit the bar. He hit it too hard, didn't he? He absolutely levered it. And he's trying to go for the top corner. He's hit the underside of the crossbar, bounced down. Wow. Arsenal have definitely got the advantage. Now, have we got a chance to really take control of this penalty shootout? It's going to be Leandro Trossard. It was his goal in the 101st minute that brought about this penalty shootout. He is now going next for Arsenal. If he scores, we'll be in a really, really strong position, won't we? Leandro Trossard is to face Ortega. Can he go 2-0 up? Can Arsenal go 2-0 up on penalties? Let's have a look and see. Trossard looking around. Seems quite calm. Can he stick it in the back of the net? Leandro Trossard to put Arsenal 2-0 up in the shootout. Trossard. Arsenal now in full control here. Steve says he is human indeed. He is too. He says yes. Again, sent the keeper the wrong way. Bottom right-hand corner this time. Now it is Bernardo Silva stepping up next for City. You do feel he has to score for that City if they're going to have any chance in this. I think if he misses this, we've won. There's still a few left. Bernardo Silva against Ramsdale. He scores. Sent Ramsdale the wrong way. That's a good penalty. And City are back in it at 2-1. But Arsenal still have that advantage, of course, because Kevin De Bruyne did miss, hit the bar. Silva slotted that away in a corner. Even if Ramsdale goes the right way, he's not saving that. He's got height right in that side netting. But Bukayo Saka is next for Arsenal. There'll be a little bit of pressure on him. As it was mentioned, he missed his last penalty, didn't he? That one at West Ham. A lot more pressure on that one than this one, you feel. But if Saka can score, Arsenal will almost be there. Saka against Ortega. Bukayo Saka to make it 3-1 in the shootout for Arsenal. Can Saka score? Saka takes a short run up. Sends the keeper the wrong way. And Arsenal are now very, very close to winning at the Community Shield. Terry says yes. Again, the keeper gone the wrong way. He didn't actually maybe kick that as nicely, as cleanly as he wanted to, as he needed to. But it's gone in. Doesn't matter. Sent the keeper the wrong way. And now there's pressure on Rodri. Arsenal are leading 3-1. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put the penalty shootout score up on there, won't we? Just so we can see what's happening. It is Rodri now for Manchester. He has to score really for them. Oh, Ramsdale saved it. Ramsdale has saved it, and now Arsenal are one kick away from winning the Community Shield. It was a poor, poor penalty, you have to say, down to Ramsdale's right-hand side. It was very, very close to the keeper, and I mean, he dived the right way, but really it was a very, very poor penalty from Rodri. Someone who's normally very good from a set piece, from dead ball situations as well. And Ramsdale has made a save. And now it's going to be Fabio Vieira. And if he scores this, Arsenal win the Community Shield. Fabio Vieira is with the kick to win it for Arsenal. We've scored all our previous three. Is he going to score this one, Vieira, to win the Community Shield for Arsenal? We've still got a penalty in hand anyway, but he needs to score this, Fabio Vieira. Chance to really make himself a hero for Arsenal. Fabio Vieira, is he going to score? He scored in the top corner. And Arsenal have won the Community Shield 4-1 on penalties. We were seconds away from losing, and we've turned it round. Trossard's goal took it to penalties, and we have won 4-1 on penalties. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. We'll leave that score there because it was good, doesn't it? Arsenal 4, City 1, even though it's just penalty score. But yeah, some great penalties there from Arsenal. We scored them all. Terry says, what a great penalty. Steve says, beauty. Jota says, come on, you Gunners, indeed. Arsenal have won the Community Shield in rather dramatic and rather fun circumstances as well. Steve says, classic, about time. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, some poor penalties from Man City, you have to say, but we've taken full advantage. All 4 of our penalties were brilliant. We found the net with all 4 of them, and we have won the Community Shield, which is nice, isn't it? And FA Community Shield winners 2023. Once again, we haven't lost the Community Shield, have we, for a very long time? And we haven't lost this one either. Close run thing in the end, but Fabio Vieira fired that in the top corner. That's a great penalty, actually. To win a shootout with a penalty like that. Wow. Phil says there, well, there's a turnaround and a half. Awesome. A chase just to get up to it. Yeah, I mean, it was dramatic in the end, wasn't it? Really dramatic. But anyway, we've won, and that's the main thing. And we get ourselves a little trophy as well, which is nice, isn't it? We won the Emirates Cup on penalties on Wednesday, and now we've won the Community Shield on penalties as well, which is good. Fabio Vieira is going to be the hero, isn't he? He'll be the hero because he scored that winning penalty. So good for him. Good for him. Jota says, a player called Vieira scoring a winning penalty against a team from Manchester at Wembley. Why does that sound familiar? The other one was at Cardiff, actually, the one you're referring to. But yes, obviously Vieira scoring a winning penalty isn't the first time that's happened, is it? Steve says, agreed, Phil, indeed. As Steve says, Vieira. Yeah, indeed. That's strange. I forgot about that at the time. But yeah, you're right. Of course, Vieira winning penalty in a shootout against the team from Manchester. So yeah, but not at Wembley, because I say that's the first one at Wembley. But yes, in fact, Arsenal don't lose too many penalty shootouts, do we? Actually, when you think about it, I'm looking back at some recent ones, we've got a great record, haven't we? Jota says, "Oh damn, my bad." Still chuffed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean it's still good. Steve says 2005 Cup final. Indeed, it was the 2005 FA Cup final. Terry says, "At least we beat them. Let's hope we can when it counts." Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, in the Premier League, you don't get penalty shootouts to give you extra points. You have to win the game in 90 minutes, which he wasn't able to do. But equally, neither were they. So it's all good, isn't it? And yeah, another Community Shield on the rack. That's 17 we've won, 16 outright, 1 shared. That's not bad, is it? Only Manchester United have won more Community Shields, Charity Shields, whatever you want to call it, than Arsenal, and we've won the most since it's been called the Community Shield, which is good, isn't it? So there you go. 21 years ago, we've won 6 or 7 since, haven't we? Steve says a win's a win. It is. A win is a win, although it's kind of a draw, but it's still a win. But yes, it is. We're going to be going up in 2 seconds and lifting this Community Shield, which is very nice, isn't it? We do love to see us lift a trophy because that's what we're here for football, isn't it? All this stuff last season about, we had a great season, this, that, and the other. No, a great season is winning a trophy. I'm not saying winning the Community Shield makes it a great season. It doesn't. But it's all about winning trophies, isn't it? And we've just won ourselves a trophy, and that's great. Hopefully we can win some proper trophies. Jota says, in my defence, I was only 11, but yeah, I should have taken a moment. Great commentary as you. No, thank you very much for your comments as well, mate, and joining us as always. Good to see you all again. Good to see the familiar faces back in the chat. I've missed all you guys. Obviously, we didn't do anything through the summer. Really wanted a break from it all. I say we've done a bit of the Women's World Cup. We'll be back tomorrow actually with the England review show tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Me and Andreas, potentially Amar as well, will be doing that, so that'll be good. Steve says 1 down, 3 to go. Well, 1 down, 4 to go technically, because we can win 4 trophies, can't we? We're in 4 trophies. Why shouldn't we try and win all 4 trophies? But anyway, that is all that matters for the time being. We've won the one that we had to win today. You can only win the one that's in front of you, and we have done. And we are just about to go and see ourselves go and lift the trophy at Wembley. So yeah, it's all good, isn't it? It's what you want, isn't it? We all like to see a nice win, which is good stuff, isn't it? Terry says, "Oh, you did a watchalong in the morning." Probably not. I'm going to be able to watch the game. I don't start work till 10:30 tomorrow, so as long as it doesn't go to extra time. But I've got a few things to sort out. I'll start a new job in the morning, you see, but I'm not starting till 10:30, which is quite lucky. So I won't be doing a watch along because I've got 1 or 2 things I need to sort while the game's on. So I'll be watching it, but I won't be doing a watch along, unfortunately. But we'll be back tomorrow night anyway with the usual show, looking back on all the drama and stuff that will go on, I'm sure, in that game. Hopefully that won't go to penalties because too many penalty shootouts are not good for your heart, are they? Plus, if it goes to penalties next time, I'll be at work and I'll miss all that. So, yeah, but anyway, let's see what happens with that. Steve says, bye, all great, we'll take care. Yeah, and yourself, mate, take care. We will see you very soon, mate. Absolutely. Look forward to that. We've got some good stuff coming up this week on the channel as well. Looking forward to the new season. We'll have the Arsenal review on Tuesday this week. Adam will be here hosting that one for you. Looking back on this Community Shield, looking back on the transfer window, looking ahead, of course, to Nottingham Forest and the start of the Premier League. Now, I've got a feeling that maybe this penalty for Vieira may well be the thing that kickstarts his Arsenal career, maybe. Gives him a little bit more confidence. Actually, there's a few interviews here. Let's see if I can get to hear them.
Haven't had the luck which I was probably needing in previous seasons, goals going in, people changing. But yeah, we've stuck at it. We go with our plans and let's win it today.
Thanks so much today then, joining and starting with the trophy.
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. That's what I visioned of joining the club. I thought it was a really tough game. Every time you play against City, you never know what to expect. But you've got to dig in there. We created some really good chances. We had a bit of luck in the end. So buzzing, so happy.
It was key because was there a certain frustration? You weren't ahead by the time that City did take them.
I think it's just having the patience against them. You know, the manager said before the game, it's like a load of mini games rolled into one. You know, they move and change so much, and you know, it can get frustrating. But it's about sticking to what the manager wants as a player, and yeah, you know, to win that today is my first for this club. Your first? Yeah, we're positive.
Aaron, in terms of just a statement beating Manchester City, what does today represent, or could it represent for the season?
I'm not sure, I'll be honest, because they are a bit behind us in their pre-season, but what it is to us, it's a statement to us that we can go and beat them. It's a marker to know that we can go and beat Man City in a big game when it matters. I'm not sure what it'll be like going through the season, but we now have that mental block, as you might say, gone, and we're ready now to push on all season long.
Just appealing, when we talk a lot about the price tag, just the appealing with that. Obviously, a win helps today, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I feel like I've grown so much already in the first 3 weeks that I've been here. There's a lot of information to take in on what the manager wants. You know, I'm eager to learn, like I keep saying. I'm eager to keep improving. And I'm sure with this team we've got, the manager, the staff, everyone's come together so we can achieve anything this year. Just need to stay focused, stay together, and enjoy today.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
I mean, you can understand how Aaron Ramsdale music works like statement and marker.
Well, I mean, that was great, wasn't it? I mean, Declan Rice speaks very, very well, doesn't he? And everything that he said there makes me believe that he is coming to become the captain eventually. I think obviously you're not going to make him captain straight away because he's just come into the team, and as he said there, he's got to adapt and learn and stuff like that to what's going on. But he sounds like a captain to me there, doesn't he? And it's strange, isn't it? He's had a good little spell in it because his very last game at the end of last season for West Ham, he lifted a trophy, didn't he? And now his very first game for Arsenal, he's lifted another trophy. So there you go. Obviously, his next game for Arsenal is going to be the start of the Premier League, so he won't lift a trophy then, will he? But hopefully, he's got a few more to come in him yet. Terry says there, Rice did say he came here to win things. Let's hope it keeps happening indeed. And Terry says Rice 2 finals 2. Well, yeah, the last 2 games he's played, he's lifted a trophy at the end of it, hasn't he? So he's certainly having a good run at the minute, isn't he? But it's good to see that, you know, he wasn't getting carried away there. He mentioned that, you know, Man City were behind us in pre-season. I think Ramsdale said that, didn't he? And that's true. And it'll be a different Manchester City when we play them in the league, I'm sure. But yeah, maybe that's right. It has been a little bit of a mental block with us, you know. But having said that, we've got a great record against City at Wembley, haven't we? They've only beaten us once now out in 5 meetings at Wembley. So, you know, that's maybe part of it as well. I'm just trying to think as well. I can't remember, and I'm sure there'll be. Let me just have a look, actually. I'm trying to remember when the last time we started the season by winning the Community Shield and going on and winning a trophy at the end of the season as well. Because the last time we won the Community Shield, 2020, we didn't win a trophy at the end of that season. 2017, we won a Community Shield, didn't win a trophy that season. 2015, we won a Community Shield, we didn't win a trophy that season. 2014, it would have been, wouldn't it? When, funny enough, we beat Man City in the Community Shield in 2014. We ended that season winning the FA Cup. So that would have been the last time, wouldn't it? But the last 3 times we've won the Community Shield, unfortunately, we haven't won anything else for that season, have we? So, anyway, I bet they feel a bit silly giving the man of the match to Cole Palmer now, don't they? Just because he scored what they thought was going to be the winning goal, and now he's on the losing side. But to be fair, it's difficult to have picked a man of the match in that game. It wasn't a game when any one player really stood out. You know, there was some good performances all round from several players on both teams, really, but no one was outstanding, would they? I suppose Aaron Ramsdale probably might have ended up with a chance of getting it. He made a couple of big saves and it was 1-0, didn't he? One he got a bit lucky with from Foden, and then one from Rodri's header. And then, of course, he saved the penalty. So maybe Aaron Ramsdale might have got man of the match had they waited until the end of the game to award it, rather than there was still 20 minutes to play in the end, wasn't there? By the time they awarded it, you had the extra time, injury time at the end and the penalties. But anyway, irrelevant really, isn't it? Let Cole Palmer have his moment. He scored a great goal at Wembley. But it's Arsenal that have won the Community Shield. And let's hope it is a confidence boost going into the season for everybody, and we can push on from here And you know, you can't ever win. You can't ever win too many trophies, can you? You can never get sick of that feeling. And hopefully, today they lift this trophy, and it makes them hungry for more, for obviously bigger trophies, which are what we all want. You know, we don't ever want to just be satisfied with a Community Shield, do we? You know, people say, you know, Mikel Arteta had won 2 trophies before today, the FA Cup and the Community Shield. For me, it's only won 1, and he's still only won 1. This doesn't count as a proper trophy or a major trophy, does it? Especially as we only got into it by default. But he's only the 3rd time the league runners-up that have played in the Community Shield have ever won. It's the 2nd time we've done it. So, you know, it's nice, it's good. So he says, look at that picture. It's good to see the Man City fans staying behind. Well, all 2 of them, like there's at their home games. Anyway, the Arsenal players are getting their gold medals. Some of them didn't play. Kiwior there. Tommy Asu as well hasn't played. Matt Turner, the substitute goalkeeper, he's got a great record at saving penalties. Maybe I'm surprised that Arteta didn't throw him on for those last couple of moments, just that he could go on for the penalties. But anyway, nice gold medal there for Declan Rice. Another medal for him. Aaron Ramsdale, Gilberto Silva giving out the medals, of course, an Arsenal legend. William Saliba picking up his first medal for Arsenal as well. And Gabriel as well. Martin Odegaard, of course, as well. So Trossard, Vieira, all these players that are picking up their first trophy or their first medal for Arsenal, you know, hopefully they're going to be the players to take us on and get more. You know, Bukayo Saka scored his penalty, of course. Thomas Partey didn't take one, did he? I wonder if he would have gone 5th. I don't know who would have gone 5th, actually, because we didn't get that far down, did we? We didn't need to, because Man City's penalties were poor, and we only need to score 4 of ours. But Martin Odegaard has just gone up now, and he has, I don't know where he's gone, actually, because he didn't take the shield. No, he's got it now. So Arsenal just about to lift the Community Shield at Wembley for the 16th time. Arsenal have won at the Community Shield outright. And here we go. Martin Odegaard's going to do the trophy lift. It's always nice to see Arsenal lifting the trophy, isn't it? At Wembley. And slight more celebrations for this one than the Emirates Cup during the week. And Arsenal have started the season with some silverware, which is what we like to see. And just passing it along the line. And it's nice to win a trophy, of course it is, but let's not get too carried away. It is only the Community Shield. And I say we're only in it by default. But anyway, it's good for players like Havertz and Timber and, of course, Rice as well on their official debuts to lift the trophy at the end of their first game for Arsenal, which is always nice, isn't it? So that's really good, isn't it? Emil Smith-Rowe lifting that shield as well. Declan Rice, he's used to winning trophies, Declan Rice, isn't he? So it's just standard for him. But I'm sure he likes winning a trophy for Arsenal. Saliba as well, his first trophy for Arsenal. Gabriel. I say most of these, it's their first trophy, isn't it? Because even that last Community Shield that we won in 2020, I think Saka, Smith-Rowe may have played in that game. I can't remember the lineup now for that game, but Martinelli potentially may well have played in that game as well. He's lifting it now. And then Saka's going to be getting hold of it now. The last Arsenal player on the line, Bukayo Saka, has got that Community Shield in his hands. And good to see, isn't it? It's nice to see Arsenal winning a trophy, even if it was quite dramatic, wasn't it, with that late goal from Leandro Trossard. His first trophy for Arsenal, of course, as well. And he's going back up the line, and I think they're going to give it to Mikel Arteta as well, the manager. The second time he's won this, of course, for Arsenal. The second time he's won the Community Shield. And he won it as a player as well, didn't he? That was against Man City as well, funny enough. Eddie Nketiah there gets his hands on it as well. Came on at the end. Ramsdale's back down on the pitch as well, taking in the moment. Of course, he did save the penalty, and that proved to be crucial in the end, didn't it? The penalty that he saved. Bukayo Saka's shaking everybody's hand up in that player's box, press the box. Jota says they're proud of the lads today. They managed not to drop the trophy. Yeah, last time on the FA Cup, of course, we dropped it, didn't we? Timber's coming down the steps with a shield. His first trophy for Arsenal, his first game. He played well today, didn't he? Timber, I thought he had a good game. So, well played for him. Brilliant performance from him. And good signs to come, I'm sure. So I thought the three signings did well today. I still think the squad isn't quite deep enough with the quality off the bench enough, but the window's still open, isn't it? So I'm sure one or two others will come in. Let's hope so. But the ones that we've bought have certainly been good signings so far, judging on the evidence of today. And yes, it's very early days, and we're not going to get carried away. Of course, we're not. But it's a good start, isn't it? And what can you do? You've got a game and you win it, and that's all that matters. So I say, well played, the lads today. They did well, hung in there when it was difficult. You know, it was difficult, 1-0 down. You know, we hung in there in the last 5-10 minutes or so. You know, because I changed it. I said he changed it too late, and maybe in a normal game, a 90-minute game, you'd probably say that yes, it was changed too late. But ultimately, it paid off. We got the goal and we ended up winning it. So, you know, you've got to give Arteta credit for that. I say I wish he'd maybe changed it a little bit earlier, but I'll say he changed it in the end, and it worked. We got the victory on penalties, and we have won. And we can now get the photos done in front of that the banner that says Community Shield winners 2023. And let's hope that. So it's the first of many this season, or certainly the first of at least another one. We won another trophy this season, don't we? One a little bit bigger than this one, a little bit more important than this one. And they've got champagne, which is a little bit embarrassing. But anyway, I suppose the players should enjoy it, because it's about winning, isn't it? And winning breeds winning, doesn't it? We know it does. So, yeah. And let's hope that winning this is going to breed more hunger in these players to win more and go on and have a good season and end up with another trophy at the end of it all. That's what we want, don't we? So, yeah, there we go. That is the Community Shield. That is our first watch-along of this season, the new season. And it started well, hasn't it, with a nice win in the Community Shield. I say we'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. We will be looking back on the England women against Nigeria in the World Cup, the last 16 game, the first knockout game. Hopefully England would have won. We'll look back on that tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Then Tuesday, 8 o'clock, Adam is here. The Arsenal review is back, slightly different this season. Adam's going to be the host, going to be looking back on pre-season, looking back on this game, looking ahead to the Nottingham Forest game as well. So loads of great stuff coming up there. So please join Adam for that on Tuesday. And of course, going into the weekend, we'll be here again. Hopefully we'll have a Lionesses game in the quarter-final to come. And also, of course, the big game against Nottingham Forest next weekend as well. At the start of the Premier League season, we'll be here for another watch-along for that one as well. Let's hope for another win, another victory would be nice, wouldn't it? Start the season in the Premier League with another 3 points. John says there, cheers again, Rich, all in the chat. Enjoy your evening, coming guys. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody. What's left of the weekend, make the most of it, because Arsenal have won a trophy, and that's always nice, isn't it? Terry says, Richard, can you do some more of your music vlogs? Really enjoy them. Oh, I will be. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot of them going along. They take quite a lot of work and time. I've had time the last couple of weeks because I've been off work, so I've been able to put them together. I'm still going to do them. They may not be quite as regular going forward because they do take a lot of time up. But yes, I've got 3 or 4 more planned. I just need to record them and edit them and get them sorted. But yeah, I definitely will be doing some more of them. I enjoy doing them, actually. You know, my 2 passions in life have always been music and football. So to be able to do them as well has been great. So yeah, I will be doing some more of them. Don't worry. Definitely. Terry says, yeah, take care, Jota. Indeed. Take care, everyone. So I'll say I'll be back tomorrow night, looking back on the Lionesses game. And then Tuesday, please support Adam. He's our new host of the Arsenal Review show. And that's going to be on a Tuesday this season. It was on a Monday last season, but we're moving it to Tuesday. And Adam's going to be your host for that one. I'm going to be bringing you 1 or 2 different shows this season as well. Some new stuff coming on the channel. We'll talk about more later on as well. Terry says, what was your band going to be called? Well, I didn't get as far as, I didn't even get any members. No one was interested, you see, in joining it with me. So we didn't get to the point of giving it a name or anything. You know, it was just an idea. I wanted to do it. So, I wrote a load of songs, actually. I've still got them somewhere in a book somewhere. They're not very good, obviously. I was like 13 years old at the time, so they're not very good songs. But, it's always nice to dream, isn't it? But, yeah, no one else at school was that bothered, really. So it never quite came off. But I didn't actually come up with a name, but maybe we can think of a name now. We'll have to come up with a name for the band, won't we, that I would have been in had I managed to get it going. But I didn't. So, yeah, we'll have to think of that. But, yeah, I don't know what we would have called it, actually. I don't know. But, yeah. Something to think about, isn't it? We'll come up with that anyway. But yes, I say I'm going to be doing some slightly new shows this season on the channel as well. Adam's going to be doing a review, and we'll have one or two other bits and pieces. And then we can enjoy the season. I'm sure it's going to be good. Obviously, we'll be covering the women's games as well. Obviously, the WSL season's not starting until October, so we've got a little bit of a time to wait for that. But we'll be obviously kicking on with that as well. But I say in the meantime, we have got the World Cup shows coming up as well. So one tomorrow night. So please join me. Give us a like as well before you leave, guys. Give us a like. Because Arsenal won the Community Shield. We did it. Come on. It was good, wasn't it? Please join me tomorrow night. We'll look back on that Lionesses game. And I say Adam on Tuesday to look back on this. And look forward to Forest next week. And I'll be back for a watch-along as well, of course, next weekend, which is going to be good stuff, isn't it? So it's been good today. It finished after 90 minutes, 101 minutes in the end. Arsenal won. Manchester City won. It was Cole Palmer gave Man City the lead with 16, 17 minutes to play. And then in the final moments of stoppage time, Leandro Trossard's deflected effort made it 1-1. And then Arsenal won 4-1 on penalties. All four of our penalties were scored. Man City missed two of theirs. And that was that. We won 4-1 on penalties. And Arsenal have just lifted the Community Shield at Wembley. It's been great. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. Let's hope so. Terry says there, Richard, thanks for the end to a great weekend. Enjoy tomorrow morning. Come on, you Gunners. Come on, you Gunner girls. And come on, you England Lionesses. Indeed, that's all we want to see, isn't it? We want to see success for the men's team, the women's team, and of course the Lionesses as well. And let's hope that, it's not been too bad. The Lionesses won the League Cup last season. The women won the League Cup last season. The Lionesses won the Euros, and now Arsenal won the Community Shield, the men. So they've all each lifted a trophy. Let's hope there's more to come though from all of these teams over the next few weeks or months, because you can't get enough of winning trophies, can you? That's that for today then. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you tomorrow night for the women's show, looking back on the England Lionesses game at the World Cup. Hopefully you enjoy that. We will see you soon. In the meantime, as always, come on, you Gunners. Come on, you Gunners. We have won the Community Shield. We beat the Man City. Pep, you are nothing this season, mate. You are nothing. We are coming for you. And get used to it, son. With your new beard and that. We're coming to get you. Ta-ra, guys. See you tomorrow.